a very, very sad date. I think Thursday around 11 a.m.
Okay.
And I used 2 phones. But I'm from no afraid but I'm canteen when I meet the I'm the bass run and be here. And I call for media. Uto bo frawa on time fraw.
Yeah.
To frawa either say then the cost na me peke make me call my friend back. No what is he saying? And I couldn't do KuroYiMuNsem near Ghana near money bina. I think 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
You were a Kwesiajman atapokuma me ye no me hu no wase on the Sam George mo other ministers near the me hu it kind of it didn't click. And I think 2 weeks ago na me am TikTok papa ko for mo kwa things a wedding no say program bi ano ne te wa you know to say camaraderie omo bon komo bosri everything was cool. So
it was full of life.
Yes, it was kind of I'm maybe. So normally no Anna's had in a bar because of what we do as journalists. You need to confirm from the family and also who source bia the graphic post here. Omo follow graphic post here no. I felt compelled to also post it. Me who answer graphic ability story no but na link no. It's I think around 1:30. Then my online sources said that the family has confirmed. I'm so wow. So one of the crowd say even I think Wednesday, you know. Let me just get the picture. I think I had a picture somewhere. Wednesday, you know. She was even at another funeral. This is it. Let's say maybe a friend of Lucy Kwadu. Or no funeral be Ifa. No, was here Wednesday no.
Really?
Yes, and my papa could focus you no kind. Say Wednesday no. Oh, Thursday no pa. Send your more around 10 a.m. 11 a.m. Papa could or 10 around 10 a.m. To say Wednesday no cry in the way you na see I saw your Kaiser Ken. No baby say papa na ho ye. Papa could say 2 weeks ago no ma bon come what age. Just who ye fedodo. Almost ran to buy no papa ho ye. Na ade tia ye so ko. So it's a very interesting stuff. But when I heard the news, I decided to watch on one talking about her life. Because one thing I'm in this career, and I say if you are not careful and you always pick things from the internet, it may not be entirely accurate.
That's true.
So I decided to go behind the veil and watch certain things. But before that, there's a bit of pictures to create a bit of context, and I'll come to what I listened to. So this is 1999, 24 February. On name Madam Hillary Clinton, former First Lady, Secretary of State, presidential candidate. I think so. Almost
the picture is so adoring.
Yes, almost the same in many ways. So attempted to be a president. She also attempted to be a president. Maybe a Secretary of State in one year, but former First Lady. And so they have that synonymous again. Messiah could picture because of this one, Maya Angelou. I mean, one of we are seeing them with 3 tributor. Push me. The tribute to Nelson Mandela. His day has come. A tribute back one attach me pan. So that's Maya Angelou. That is Nana KuroYiMuNsem. So I brought this picture for symbolism. We know Maya Angelou and the activities so you be ma empowerment. And then they be a cousin we say, also who society be can one way had be major society they will treat man and collar. A key man me pan. So this is somewhere 1982. This picture between Dr. Maya Angelou and Nana KuroYiMuNsem Rollins. And you could be a who knows a star, no, Madame Filio because it's silhouette, you know, was our iconic G and on the side. And I met sure be a free bar. And yeah, there's on a flight lieutenant John Rollins, Achimota. Then you come to KNUST, Africa Hall, Konami Continental, Unity Hall. Intimate because I'm somehow affiliated to her because I know Africa Hall. No, remember a bit of contest here. Then this next picture is about the family. Kora 4 minimum one almost said but minimum say ba ko de anima ba ko de Jantuah as another day I think a bit clear than Berman Kimati. So and obete ne ho NDP say person contest 2016 about ballot and so because 22 contest Prof Mills anye ye. This is 2020. President Rollins is free on the 12th of November 2020. 5 years any. So there's a bit of contest. Now let's go back to the Nana mission interview. You know, I learned certain things. Now, I looked at Kaima Dibia, my pastor Kendi, you say, God intervenes in the affairs of men using men.
Yeah.
Or say, Yankopon Nanya, so the Brafred to Kubatias, or say, Yankopon, yes, soon, Yankopon, Shiano, Kem, unhia na dum to beye mo bia ma wa de be fa nipa so na nipa ye sa mo na ma why am I saying so anakuna du ye wo no Cape Coast be nim so ya Asante in 1948 nana ne papa eye djuma wo UAC permit checks na a trading company supermarket chains of companies ni ade to movie ye otena aswadu kakra free swedro no ena omo call takwa ena omo bank kokko enjoy your well traveled na enkoko no ko school kakra ba na nitimi ne de
before so beto aso no Eugene I say literature ni nyina highlight your papa little is said of mama.
Yes, I think say ne papa no because of prominent you say ne papa no free UAC no okay adwuma o GN or GNTC
okay
that time no his father was one of the only 2 black managers arising to that position. No? The second man, I think Regional Dana, that is Kofi Annan, papa. It was a papa, no, I said, baby, there was that prominence. No, the first black, say, Chasan. I was okay, and was happy, but for yet me funny did that. He was the first black vice chancellor in Nimino. And I think, say, because of that clout and papa no one any baby o ye adwuma nti na man ba na mame I think Elena Jima no so no Asante Royal no so your back kukuduru for any other the literature is there and Osha or talking a lot about ne mame because na ne papa ne kwa around na ne mame na say holding krami and sani together any other no so call enkoko na ntini ne de ne bra class as o kwa no di ne bra chi but first time on the casual school no around the cemetery mo kwa akra no that is school no say prestigious a promise school no call kaka ofuro no call Ghana International School GIS and no kwa Achimota no kushia papa ye friend no Jerry John Rollins and you see owi Achimota no call London Kebia Rollins are no kan kema so what happened 2 days to so be call London go on papa wiska papa is prominent and no call ne uncle ho e will invest your Ghana so call kra no offer me so me ko na no fa se da bi da Uni abako or my Uni abemako or my unso besoko enye yi menti ase o se o na okatre no ofa ne say interview footprint o kache no ofa ne say aba wo nya me papa na ne we feel so ya Asantini Asantini papa nua yo papa yes e jo se o kwabro ni say papa ne bebo na sum ba papa na mo no so de Kofi enkomo e wo me no papa bebo sa enkomo no afo ndo wa Kofi ne ma me so mbo no kwa ka 2 days o ko London o so ofia ne papa ba your friend ma me ne wo fansu di akire enom so nko ne dem na jampanifo bo nkomo wa ne ma me di abufu aba say yesi enye ye pack ba enumere na ya do kukumase
yeah
listen and they be am say me say God has a way so me when people ask me to define my life I make it be providence who say see ana de won ti ase but with hindsight no o se senye manati sisi so hat me say nyankopon na na e hye no now never financial dey okay Legon adam one ko Legon satan na Legon na agitation ho na KNUS na ho na no fada ne buy no fada ne buy KNUS no dey call register so nko ya architecture ana konedu o so no stubborn kakra to twema na wo fa kwa de che no call register say there be meya art called decoration some ne ye ne fe that was how she got into KNUS and when no ba KNUS no and obeshi a vice chancellor for Evans and Fum or Penasam or Tunifo ba betimi aye we to 31st December movement no aha and an APK
okay
interesting no and okoye deputy SRC general secretary now what's interesting is obey main SRC secretary no na SRC president or APV or being Pro Victor being who will later become the secretary of secretaries for the PNDC
man no free akokare no
yes later become the chairman of the KNUS Council. Ghana, how we cannot write thinkers. Oh, to so pe jam name, omo form European Union thinkers. Those who shape their politics are PV Obenka. There's an interesting story. To know your general secretary, no, not PV Obeng, and a KNUS SRC president. How would the relationship of PV Obeng form together with Rollins? PV Obeng is a mechanical engineer, or yajuma fishing company be a tamale. Flight Lieutenant Rollins so ne konadum pratwe na ye because one call land no gusu Ghana no pe obi onim afidie hu ne ma bi no aboa no armed forces ne ma bi no oh me abrantia na me di secretary president o ye mechanical engineer that was the connection between Rollins and PV Obeng okay so one say America no sometimes these all these things are divinely connected in a certain way. It's in activism, no. So encourage the target in India that abandoned the Nkemwa. But back in university, for you to become a secretary of an S house in what was our election there, you need to have mobilization.
Yeah.
And now I'm here for the scratch for so good morning gun. At a point, the 31st December movement, they had almost 2 million people. You won't cry on course we are calling friend to tell friend to the first time we call school of boy to me area near 31st December school. My man and Casa by the bill soon or a poem at the man. Omo koya na volunteers coach and papa say obey my nipa bi onko school ni bi. So first time I were classroom 31st December movement school and ne obo Ghana first journalists obo 10 20 20 here din bebem. So the impact no wide. And when I say academic, at a point, some researchers even quote 870 preschools and community schools will create here. That is the impactful. Me first lady from Bombay so BBN because of mommy. But she was the longest serving, briefly 79. And I started 31st December 1981. A Koya Junta for almost 11 years. Transition to become the first one in the first Republican dispensation. Me who first said the union no impact for some Amida. She was that impactful, and it's because of one uncle's advice. It's for me, I'm a traffic will be a cobra. Can I make a one for say? Sometimes we be two. Is there so better transfer? Soon, you know, now that's why you're more. No? Learn the lessons in there, then move on. Maybe God is orchestrating that pattern because of Bibia and that one. Go be a Colandana, Ebian Caraya and Kemaso. And in fact, let me kind who was it? Ambassador DK or say some of these established diplomats say sometimes even the transition to the democratic rule in the Fourth Republic, you can credit her.
Yeah, largely.
Because for you to become the wife of J.J. Rollins in the public lineage, and then this our Henemano. Hardly pass over better and crown, so she played a certain significant role. It's immediate. She needs to be celebrated. State, to His Excellency, 3 days state morning. A flag, if you say half mass, and flag half mass near there. A good state by there, a cocoa by. But it also tells you, sometimes you need to also take certain decisions if you feel strongly about it.
Especially bold ones.
And I know can you be
so a minority, no?
Yes. Also no can you be bold. Oh, now senior, then you me catch a arm of you Jimmy Poisson can you say? Edman me and you be a grow. You see, I didn't clear. Let me give you an example. And now, I'll be sending me video about Barima Kofi or Bonko for Biniam MPP near there. Many quarter down to a track came. Yes, I am about for Yama is Kaneka. So they be an your kind. Who person will take group think ideas. There will be a one who could be. You will not distinguish yourself. But I don't know, he should have captured this in the Fourth Republican dispensation or bar or contested the first time on the ballot. I don't know. Or baby, the kinds I don't know. My opinion motivation be the a two son. Maybe Ghana get a female president. Who knows? Fene Baba is not to the war. You get it. It's no to an amono. And for me, Obu past 70. And I'm me who say sad. I rather see it as a celebration of life. Celebration of life because let's channel Dawson. Come on, I'm share no share the exposure any BBR. But luckily for her, no, I never come the bashes and go for no book.
Oh yes.
Because you see, no why books are powerful. Your father pebby back for Ajimandia. Only see your Kofor Foundation. Or true book could be an eye care champion. When I read the book, I had a different view about Ike Champion. And for me, after Kwame Nkrumah, there's no Ghanaian leader head to head who beat a champion. To me, after reading that book, because that book could serve as the igniter, could be further. The book could make kind of weekend. So we are happy that your living book could be there. You understand? Crown, they say Papa Nio, Mammy Nio, but my penny for. So they can. That sadly. Nanka, I think so. The birthday is 17th November. Well, Miss we November born. I think I cut just about what? Roughly 22 days. And nobody the 77th birthday. Mammy no looking the age crown. Half a 77. But Send your kind. Sometimes you know, nyame ne nim ne wo ye. Nti no, ya de be stress Nyankopon
on her. Me da say the way I was see a baby and yema so. But me from where I'm coming from because of my background. If you know her yemra,
yes,
development of law.
Yes.
Obi a why constitutional law kakra bia be hu say you cannot discuss constitutional law. Abra onhwe MPP versus Attorney General, the 31st December movement case. But we say na 31st December no you cool ne see. Na o mine institutionalize say e be day I drew ho o mine be celebrity. MPP at the time took the matter to court. There one particular case a travel year pa it was Supreme Court. My you should that particular case they establish a separation of powers. They establish the supremacy of the constitution. And when you say the court intimate interfere, say you instituted the say a holiday. Now that is supposed to be under the purview and preserve for the legislature and the executive. The say 31st December woman and as a woman or more movement and so case in which me aba now shaping even the discourse of our law. I think she is the she was the architect behind
yes,
it.
Even another one cried the literature on the PNDC law 111, the interstate succession law. Hi, ban kola, papa free nebusu for be jim near there. No, even Lumba in some air can you say crano. A crowd, who's on your normal code interstate succession law, and Indian on the activism, any idea. No,
Bible Drews say spousal or marital rights.
Yes, and I say, maybe I'm the chief of staff for a man of first lady, Rebecca. This kind of coin. I was in between. Say sometimes you see obi play role be. For example, Otumfo. Charlie, nyemo mo ye nukromu hana ndaji no. Go and read Manas Azuri documentary about the book, The 4th John. Charlie, the role Otumfo played in 2016 to safeguard Ghana's peace in Uli. It's sometimes you know no. And you're visible, sir. And I'm some delicate one. You're careful. I say, you are trying to usurp the powers of your husband. You know, it's they play very key role. But I was also not too happy. And I'm catching that on Thursdays. I say, Obuwana. Because any monumental DBI name after her. On top of my head, and now me some Madame Fubili or Love FM. My colleague, you know, can say, oh, Scooby Ashtown, 31st December, back on your friend Kunedu Asa. There's nothing really monumental about her, but to share the empowerment when it comes to women, maybe as a girl senior high school, be something because you see that they are not so bwa. Emma, a shank phone friends, I will be a when you're the needing Jan what can be beer. Say, mini baby, say. So maybe she paid, and you see when it comes to roles, I did analyze here. I'm a cast a chalk and cheese. There are people who will love him. There are people who hate him. The dark days were real. Oh, Rollins, how did the dark days are real. We all have heard the stories. We all watch the.
As analytical as you are, all discussing days you will look at the exigencies of the time.
Exactly.
At the time.
Exactly.
Were they not being hailed?
Yes.
Junior Jesus.
Yes.
Let the blood flow.
Yes.
There.
Yes.
So when you come into a different dispensation, now we're discussing those days.
Yes.
You should approach it with circumspect.
Yes, the context is important. But the back can okay, but all that I will say is that history will be kind to her. She played a role, and Medrin said the state should celebrate her in that order. Now, here comes a very, very sad date. I think Thursday around 11 a.m.
Okay.
And I use 2 phones. But I'm for no afraid back when I'm at canteen when I meet the bass run. I'm looking here. And I call for a media. Uto bo flower on time flower.
Yeah.
To a flower, either say, then of course, I'm a PK. Make me call my friend back. What is he saying? I'm not going to do my role exams. Near Ghana, near Money Bina. I think 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
You were a question, man. A tapukuma me, me who was here. On the Sam George, other ministers near the me to a kind of it didn't click. And I think 2 weeks ago, I'm TikTok, Papa Kofi, more things a wedding, no say,
Yeah.
Program be on it why. You know to say camaraderie, everything was cool. So
it was full of life.
Yes, it was kind of I'm maybe. So normally no Anna's had in a bar because of what we do as journalists, you need to confirm from the family and also who source be the graphic post here. Follow graphic post here no. I felt compared to us who posted. Me who answer graphic ability story no, but not link no. It's I think around 1:30. Then my online sources said that the family has confirmed. I'm so wow. So one of the crowd say even I think Wednesday, no. Let me just get the picture. I think I had a picture somewhere. Wednesday, no. She was even at another funeral. This is it. Let's say maybe a friend of Lucy Kunadu. Or also funeral be Ifa. No, I see Wednesday no.
Really?
Yes, and my papa could focus you no kind. Say Wednesday no. Oh, Thursday no pa. Send your weekend around 10 a.m. 11 a.m. Papa could focus or 10 around 10 a.m. To say Wednesday no crying the way you na see I saw your Kaiser Ken. No baby say papa na ho ye. Papa could focus 2 weeks ago no my bon come what age. Just who ye fedodo. Almost right to buy no papa ho ye. Na ade tia ye so ko. So it's a very interesting stuff. But when I heard the news, I decided to watch on one talking about her life. Because one thing I'm in this career, and I say if you are not careful and you always pick things from the internet, it may not be entirely accurate.
That's true.
So I decided to go behind the veil and watch certain things. But before that, there's a bit of pictures to create a bit of context, and I'll come to what I listened to. So this is 1999, 24 February. On name Madam Hillary Clinton. No, former First Lady, Secretary of State, presidential candidate. I think so. Almost
the picture is so adoring.
Yes, almost as in many ways. So attempted to be a president. She also attempted to be a president. Maybe a Secretary of State in one year, but former First Lady. In they have that synonymous again. Messiah Kuyi picture because of this one, Maya Angelou. I mean, one of we are seeing with 3 tributes. It pushed me. The tribute to Nelson Mandela. His day has come. A tribute back one, I touch him a pan. So that's my Angelo. That is Nana Kunedo Ajmaron. So I brought this picture for symbolism. We know my Angelo and the activities so you be ma empowerment. And then they be a cousin we say, open so who society be can one way had be major society they will treat man and collar. A key man pan. So this is somewhere 1982. This picture. Between Dr. Maya Angelou and Nana Kunedu Ajiman Rawlings. And you could be a who knows a star, no, Madame Fulio because it's slow it. You know, was our iconic G and on the side. And I met sure be a free bar. Any idea? There's on a flight lieutenant Jerry John Rawlings, Achimota. Then you come to K University, Africa Hall, Konami Continental, Unity Hall. Intimate can say I'm somehow affiliated to her because I know Africa Hall. No, remember a bit of contest here. Then this next picture is about the family. Kora for minimum almost said but minimum say ba akodi anima ba akodi ya Jantuah as another I think a bit clear than Berman Kimati. So and obete ne ho NDP say person contest 2016 about ballot and so because 22 contest Prof Mills anye. This is 2020. President Rawlings say free on the 12th of November 2020. 5 years so there's a bit of contest. Now let's go back to the Nana make sure an interview, you know. I learned certain things. Now, I looked at Kaima Dibia, my pastor can be say, God intervenes in the affairs of men using men.
Yeah.
Or say, Yankopon Nanya, so the Brafred to Kubati, or say, Yankopon, yes, soon, Yankopon, Nishian or Kem, Nishian the Doom. So, Bayam will be a mawa.
For your mental health on KuroYiMuNsem and Twasuma now Fidia Ketchibi and your monitor to Enfamao. Your mental health on KuroYiMuNsem, you know what I can say, a shame of Fra Apomudin Wunsem, Mofra Adrimu Apomudin can Wunsem. Na Yegusua Yesuya the last week, you wrote Remua one moon fee so. In Fiebia, need your Mudra or more Yenin Century down in Wendy, but many shall see a share, and no ma, a yana, a yen century, a tresse or how be a ba. And I say, oh, how be a Danny Wedia, and who here se otu ani hwe ewo wono emfie so nti ye hyase se ye hwe childhood mental disorders no some of the science aya na da ne ho adi ema odi ehuna eno ne egusu a yesua ho ade ti wa besimu a previous episode no so opeso unya in 104.5 okoye Facebook page na wahwehwe your mental health on KuroYiMuNsem no obinya previous episode ni nyina ahwe na afin so no Barima Kofi Dawson me Facebook page o follow me nso a ni nyina no obenya esan se onwo ya obewo na wo nso a wawo no bia na uni nimdie ne nsenkyereni no ehu enimdie kakra enti ne se wote ni se ya na ade bia to kotudwem se be ya bibi ni a ubetumi aboa wo ba no na waje na firi mu ntem danse ebeche na akofo haw kese pa ede aba sanse de tie ne se apomuden ho haw no ehya se bi wo honom a eye nkakra ba se wuhu ne ntem a eboa yie pa ema otumi so ano entem ese ewiase no sebe mpreduasa ese ahobambo atrema no eye chen ayadesa bokitima enti no eduru ba bia se wuhu na wo di sikwan a ya na eboa chen se ubejai ama abeduru na emuaye de na wie ansana wahwe se opre homwa na yenhya se emura nsenkyerene ahodo no ma kyerew se ye ka mofra adwemu apomuden ho hawo no a eye hawo bi a edi ewo mofra so a empempi no ema ene wonum mfie so a wadie edwumadie no ebo abra enti di abofra ne mfie a wadie ne de eso wo ye abofra bia eye wo sa mfie no mu no ene ne de no ebo abra na ne nsenkyerene ni bi edi wo matenkam me kyerew mo emotions edadi ewo wonum behavior wonum ne ye afei esanso edadi wo kwan a wo fa so dwene wonum thought ana wo thinking no ensesan ebem na sansenkyerene ahodo na ya na ebem no eno na ese wote wani hwe na etumi ma wo hunu se bibi ekoso ana se bibi aye okay na watwi me ne wo hyase ne yesua nsenkyerene no nkakra de akọ ene de ebehwe no eye atenkamu nsenkyerene ahodo a eye na dan ne ho edi ti na watwi ebehwe emotional science ya eye na dan ne ho edi bra emofra enya eye ohaw kakra ewo madwen mu na hye ne nso se enye nsenkyerene ya mbebobɔ so nyina ne dan ne ho edi a ekire se abofra no enya ohaw no prekope da bi ne yete ne se ye wo mre dodo a ese eduru ebi wo hono mu a ese etwam na wotwe mienu ebi nso wo ho a ese edi bosome ebi wo ho a ese tena abofra ne so bosome miensa ansa na wotumi asigina ye se saade no aba no eye wo haw me se sisubiem enye se abofra ne dance nkyereni ya mebobɔ so adi dakope na anupe na ansa pa na ekire se wo haw ho na emum no abode mu nyansa pemu nhwehwemu de ye wo mre bi a etwa se edie ansa na wasi po se abofra no wo haw ebi wo hoye na wotwe mienu ebi ye bosome ebi timi di abosome miensa ebi kura se timi twam afe na yetimi asigina ye se ampa eye haw a ete abofra ne so senti ete saa ne se empempi no no ma ye hia wo yasetenam ni mofra na asetenam ni omu hia no etimi ma omu suban sesa na no nkyere se ohaw bi aba na emum saa de kura ma suban ne ye ne se de osi dwene fa no sesa ye no ne ma changes won emotions ne thinking anampo ne behavior no baaye no se saa de ni free wa utumi sa abofra ne sa akọ ne dadam enu nti na kyere wo se enye ni nyina na esi so pose abofra no ewo haw na emum ewo mpempenso a ese duru ansa na wasi sa agina ye no ne edikan a me de hyase ewo atenkamu ohaw no ti wadwan ne Facebook in 104.5 a obehwe abofra yi a said ye ote ho no a on se ne toy no a ese odidi agro no eda nachi kire wo se BBC edi enti na abofra be hu toy na wada nachi edi ama no kire se bibi ekoso ti wo hwe ne nsa said ye osi aye no a ensenkyere ne edikan no potoka semu be kind of persistent sadness or tearfulness enti unsa abofra no eduru bre bi a etoatoa so se na wura aho no ho obehwe kura na se nisuo atata no ensu bi a na wo de wadwene mu no wonye ne hwe ana wususu se bibia nsi ba na abofra no ne su ayɛ saa na ne yɛteɛ ne sɛ ɛdamu no nyinaa no wobɛhu sɛ abɔfra no sɛbe waboto na werɛ aho ɛnoma a wɔdidi agorɔ bi te sɛ tɔɔ deɛ yɛ a mede kyerɛ wo yi afei ɔnsom koraa ɔmpɛni mu na wahwɛ nti yɛmfa obi te sɛ ama ɛdin na mebɔ kɛkɛ ɔwɔ mfirinhyia bɛyɛ du na n'ani gye agorɔ paa ne ɔpɛ paa ne sɛ wobɛhu so wɔne ne nuanom anaa ne namfofoɔ anɔpa biara wɔnom bɛsɔre akɔ bea bi adi agorɔ ebi a wo living room hɔ ebi nso a wɔnom bɛtena veranda mu adi agorɔ nanso mmere bi ɛtoatoa so a ɔnyɛ saa deɛ no mmɔfra no nyinaa ahyia mu a wate ne ho ɛkyerɛ wo sɛ biribi ɛkɔ so wobɛhu so wɔno nko ate hɔ no nanso wɔte ne suo wobisa no biribiara no a ɔnka hwee nkyerɛ wo ɛkyerɛ sɛ biribi kɔ so a ɛhyɛ n'atenka so a ɛma ne di ho awerɛhoɔ nti saa nsɛnkyerɛnne yi da ne ho adi a ɛdwa sɛ wonya abɔfra no ho abɔtrɛ ebinom tumi teatea wo na wonka sɛ wokora deɛ wopɛ sum wokora deɛ deɛ na mfɛfoɔ ani agye wɔ mu di agorɔ no adeɛ wabɛtena ha na wayɛ bosaa saa no medeɛ kora deɛ ma menwene me ho na woteatea abɔfra mesrɛ wo wo sɛ ha nomɔ nsɛnkyerɛnne ɛdi kan ni sɛ wohu wei a nya ne ho abɔtrɛ abɔfra bi wɔbɛdi bɛyɛ naanu nansa koraa ansa na wobisa na watumi aka deɛ ha no naano ti yɛ nya ne ho abɔtrɛ sɛ ɔba no kɔ saa tebea ne mu a sanse de mo na wode ateatea de bɛhyia wɔ mu no ɛboto akwadaa ne mo na madi hu bɛhyɛ ne mu wanhwɛ yi a ɛma na adwene a ɛfa wo maame ana papa no ho ɛsesa na ɔyɛ na adwene mu sɛbe oni kamafuo bi ɔyɛ na adwene mu sɛ baabi ɔte no ɔte ahohobia anaasɛ baabi a woni obia na ɛkɔba ne saa abɔfra no ntimi nyini ɛwɔ esuadeɛ mu sɛ osua bibi afa bibi asesa bibi afiri na adwene mu ti ɛho hia sɛ yɛtumi boa yɛ ma no saa kwan no so wei yɛ deɛ di kan ɛwɔ ɛyɛ mmɔfra atenka mu nsɛnkyerɛnne ahodoɔ ɛkyerɛ sɛ ɔhaw ahodoɔ bi ɛkɔ so ɛwɔ wɔnom adwene apɔmuden ho nhyira 104.5 sɔkɔba mfatilo ɛde agoyi mu nsɛm no ɛde ɛtoa yɛ so yɛtwa yɛ ho aba ne aka no ɛdɔɔso pii yɛde ne nyinaa ɛbɛbrɛ wɔ kasa fidie so ɛba yɛ sia
Bobo no and an pay dinner at the board month in the show Premier Sports on KuroYiMuNsem Sima Edo the enemy now person kwa and an up matches messing Kuyam dinner at the airboard month in the Son Pamadine at Jonathan Esiedu over to me from Sokoban Fatilo Steve Zando on the Costa Mataroma and a mobile Machidom and some of those who people black and someone say Ghana Premier League now cherry a room our match week 7 with the Musan Seminar Deba and have a fantabulous Kumasa Santico the call almost so and Sam Ewan Senimum. And I pay MTN and I make conscious ultimate canoe your bar. Now we a businessman call me part of the MTN. And you my papa and everybody born a business let's me grow. Now etime tumpo. Yama special data no. Now yama call ban is a real. Near study insurance at the appeal. So pay them pan pay you for net. Now star 5060 hash. Star 5060 hash. Now on send to me MTN. And you my papa and be. Now be bien to me fine pa into for mom. And apartment cannot to client not only to my broach memu. Now I'm a front account paramishram. And what you sue Emirates economic class, no, which level we share no Emirates economic class. As an a plan inside an above on Suya Wagin P. As an a room we plan inside that your 250 dedicated kids channels are above funny to plan inside no bullying Yakoma, and you know, but you touch with the big grow, Nina, I think now Kakama pa. bia enso so etimi da meto to kwan na emafra kan wo de no yisu Emirates economy class no bawdam so emirates.com na be cool flight no na be bia timi fine pa entum fama bet to some country so we no bet to Ross misraw u bet to all sports no so and I say casino no so no na wo any points the points no betuma convert no amana sika na betuma yi and I say betuma the man no so the twa bet ni biem umpe dem pa na pa you fully see na about www.betway.com.gh na twa bet no bet na be bia entumi fine pa entum fama okada ko some country so say wo dem what does you feel no say your company office one say your open furniture tom and I say the commissioner mananya okada ko na onum say showroom na e wo asokwa no de be to so bi won say ya biem enama bebre na mpirifo da begum na anu nsem bako pa ne say amase me catch say from now okopim 31st October 2025 ade bia beto bia okada ko bia no me ba 15% discount 15% discount umpe dem pana pe tantem so na fo ne chima ton so bi wono ma ne koto furniture na say da kono na be bia so entimi fine pa enti fama and tantem so shen na say free the Black Race of Ghana nyame na china amugina kono e wo Accra Sports Stadium e wo WAFCON qualifiers no 2026 dia no na anum say first leg no ye rewo Egypt e ko show mo miensa nyame na china na return encounter no enso so entimi to dwa na news na eba no enye news papa isan say emma no ayamagno say training no munye 2 days in the Black Race of Ghana omunye training ni nyana say nche bia July busumi ma and a WAFCON tournament 2025 then to go Morocco Ghana ekoto so miensa bronze na je na amu bonus $9,500 ebesi na amunsa entimi nkan na enua enenu achi GFM pinning for Ghana football pinning for bebre room o ma so ye omusi da bi training no munya nye na mo nyame ade mo chana de ababa wa fene Jennifer Kujo eso otono nsa ade fra Ghana ni bia se nyina room o Accra Sports 3:30 p.m. Number support to na bibia enso so entimi fine entimi from the Black Queens of Ghana.
I'm so excited to be here and to be able to ask our fans again for you guys to show up to our game on the 28th at Accra Sports Stadium. It's been over 613 days since we last played our home game, and we would love to have everyone of you to show up and support us. First of all, we are so grateful for everyone who has following us this past few years. We want to bring all our fans to come and be with us to celebrate the bronze medalists and also to win.
I know Jennifer Kujo and I will tell and can I shall pay for $9,500 a year. I will form a pa munchamo and Mamananka or Musi from Guano Mozatma Musica, Chesamunchamo Bibia, and so intimate. And I come in from my from an interim, our Ghana Premier League match 7. None of you other NFS here, Heart of Friends to Television, and Basicoli Stars, Antiman Tek Karambako Kra, and none of them that Donald Stars, Eshabaku Dumsapsi, Antimi Anti Ekano, na Donald Stars, Omu 3 games in here, Omu. Omu beating pa coach Edward Donald Stars ayo pina fun Ariseka Choba o say nano such the win nani ejun pa editia Dreams FC.
Yes, normal. The Dreams is one good team, but I have two difference. The first 45 minutes, the player is little afraid from not lose the game, and is not give too much problem from the opponent. After I will change little tactic. I know have the problem. I know have the connection middle to attack. I put the CDB inside and I
know coach Edmund Donald Stars Aristika Choba and our team can enter games now. How to folk Eshemiano Babiani Go Stars and so Eshemiano interim coach Edmund Go Stars ayo pena for na mankwa. After the game no opinion as the Go Stars na start say epic kakra pa and so etimi ediamo.
I already told you that our boys are now picking very well, and we know we are going to do well in this game. So no wonder they did well.
Okay, now the first half you started a bit slowly, you conceded, but what was the message in the second half? Because you were explosive in that second 45 minutes.
Yeah, we know that second half we changed the strategy, and then we know we can break them when we get the ball, the counter break.
I know Nana Mankwa and our coach Edmund Suffolk ayo from Dramani. I see any game the party and now send a 3 months more points no Omonsa etimi eka.
Oh, I think no. We definitely should have won the game. You know, hands down. First 15 minutes, we created some very decent opportunity chances. But I think still we need to improve on our decision making in the final third to pick out the right options at very decisive moments.
The first half was a different story. You played well. What really happened in the second half? Because you seem to have capitulated.
No, I think even in the second half we still dominated play. We were playing the game in their half, and then we have always known that they will be very dangerous in terms of their transitional play. All the 2 goals were from.
Now, and phobia fans, we don't want to my class for no. Give me the band, no more Jakakra. Young fans, no so kakra.
Football no be na ba hard na ya because we teams na obi a win the home matches no obi a win it say we go home don't mean win there na as a league na be so I did but as you consume the ball hina and atia na mu e dey check as be ball hina it ya hwe next match na ya hwe the Sunday ball Maza edu be a won e bufu seriously you don't see any seriousness on the part of our strikers sometimes many run almost I think 5 minutes after then I counted about 5 scoring chances. A period of 20 minutes. Me who 5 scoring chances. Clear. Black Queens in Marco Sagos. Coach, you know, in fact, players that has in our house players. If you are still on you so almost said you used to players.
And no phobia fans and I would say among Kanakara United Fisher 2. Becham United and Nations FC Fisherman and Salavi Wonders at Calmunu. Nations winning a game after game now. And then she's playing for the Bible. So, coach of Kasim Mingle and I stand coach Johnson Smith. I'm going to know and it's mutually no. I'm a party ways and so Summertex HFM H2 Hall United Antimante and Canberra Younger Apostle Shabako Brokum Chelsea Shabako Media Sports Club Shabako Swedo Blacks and to me anti canon. Coach Adama Media open for Ibrahim Tanko after the game. Some saying opinion and so it's me at 2
A really tough game. And I must admit it is the worst first half we played since I've been here. But I think it's part of football, and the most important thing is to have the 3 points at the end of this fight. So I think even though it was really hard, but I congratulate the boys for fighting together.
After match day 7 and say in the table is Media Madikan 16 points, and Jonas Stars Tosumienu 15 points, Heart of Lions about Tosumiensa 14 points, Samatex and 9-13, Hearts of Folk and Noom 13 points, Baby Ghost Stars in Sia 13, Kerala United and Son 12 points, Younger Apostles and Wache 11 points, Asantico the call, El Games in Sabo Motosu and Crown, Amu 8 points, Hall United do 8 points, Vision FC do 8 points, Nations FC, Dumiano 8 points, All Blacks, Dumiansa 6 points, Becham United do 5 points, Brokum Chelsea do 5 points, Dreams FC do 4 points, 11 Wonders do so 2 points, and after Barcelona Stars, Etosu do 2 points, and so on. None of other and a fantabulous Kumasa Santico Evrim, Ewo Morocco, I'm 5-1 at the show. No, I'm a normal striker, Abranta from Abetamwa, na Abranton and Canunian Somatono, Edema Al Ali Bengazo Mufi Libya. Na supporters no more Jakakla inside. Omonta almost striker, top striker na kotoko Timno after the future no Matono. Na Sikane woman etefo Sikane woman no enyize. Na not about 9:30. Ya transfer insure passports. Juma Geneswa. Ya ba papem edamamo. Sikabe $2 million. There's a breakdown on that. I'm not a communication director, lawyer, Safuduku, no church. It's a league now, but the motivation in Nana, Ebi Boko, Nima, no to play a canoe, the Neska, at me at the Asher Utimino.
But don't forget that Kotoko also needs money to run the club. I think that this discussion can take us the whole day. There's a school of thought which believes that it's not the best to transfer the player at this stage. But if you are into football in Ghana at this stage, I'm sure that you agree with us. Well, I'm not permitted to disclose the figure, but the Ghanaian standard, I think it's okay. Let me be frank with you that the only motivation left in our game today is to get opportunity to sell 1 or 2 players outside. Otherwise, a time will come that clubs will have to beg to raise funds to run the clubs, because parties are not fetching us money, sponsors are not coming because of economic reasons, and so.
Sika kodia beta mo busumi bi sika obeje sika beri asantu koreko no sare no fina dade no 9:30 ya chance ya ye be breaking it down, you touching it down kama pa and so etimi edema mo anopamdi Eric Jonathan esiedo betuma from Sokoban Fatilo me sorry so nana Jantuah ko to aso no me KuroYiMuNsem di modene kasepa no enso so etimi edabrema. Special good morning and confirm nana Kwame wo Santase Total Filling Station.
Be ma wo Jonso ni mu pai ebi kam eyawo.
Yes, I think around 8 I'm said I'm quite testing me. Say finally why any October I'm in Troha. What's the day? Oh my car said those who celebrate no. Hey, bro, for when I mention those who celebrate no. Oh man, a bad criticizing. But who say MPP phobia check me video no na then I may judge Bafato guy no. I don't know whether they don't listen. I've never judged anybody. I kept using the word allegedly. I kept using as said by the Attorney General. That's what I can say.
Yeah. So in journalism we call it attribution. I'm not
ignorant of the law.
Yeah.
So I always say that you can hate somebody. There's a relationship between Paul and Demont. You can hate Paul. That's your business. That doesn't mean I should hate him.
Yeah.
I don't dislike people through connections. So you can hate me. It's normal.
That's your business.
That's your business. But at least don't lie or don't misquote me. Now let me give you a context. So can say this. So I'm gonna do basic form. And that's my second story. This is where Ura began. Let me build a context for you. Your FreeBB Ghana Integrity Initiative. It is the local chapter of Transparency International. This is Ghana's corruption scorecard from 2012 to 2024. Okay, Afro-Barometer survey until 2022, the government of the worst corruption perception. Now John Mahama phase 1 or phase 1. Premier Kufuor phase 2 no. And I've said that my source is Afro-Barometer corruption perception index. They're around 8 and they're around 9. Now let's go into it. Unya above 50 a year. If you near Kuni papa biya. Okay. And the President Mahama ba, let's assume 2012, right? Because I have the year 44, 46, 48, 47, 43. So before President Mahama left, the worst corruption perception index Alita, 43.
Okay.
Meaning that only almost 6 out of 10 in Ghana perceived the Mahama regime as corrupt. Tiyebrofuna me say corruption perception index. Men can't corruption reality index. Now President Kufuor by the 2017 40, 41, 41, 43, 43, 43, 43, 42. Taluta, yenya sample mass wa. You know you.
Yes.
So Kufuor's best corruption perception index in 8 years was 43. So Mahama's worst corruption perception index, as in 2016, was Kufuor's best corruption perception index. What does that tell you? It infallibly tells you that the Ghanaian people perceive the Kufuor's government as most corrupt compared to the John Mahama regime. This is data. I didn't manufacture the data. I've given you my sources. So on the back of that, the NDC said they will do something they call Operation Recover or Loot Oral. So if a man will says Orano, I check fast track court, near the Amala Misano, Yanfa. This is the backdrop. That the Mahama first one that did that. Sada, near my name, ya 2 no Biano, Nanya Crown, near 43. Your poster boy, I think, will be president. Better than Casa. You know, Kwame Nkrumah number 2 year man, president, no buy, you know. The best Air 43. And then this one be oral. Now, this is where I felt there was a gap in communication. 10 February.
Before you move on to the gap, let's look at the formation of the ORA.
Yes.
Time Anna Omampani commission ORA. Now you're the president elect.
Yes.
So you're president elect until so Obeso Afuna. With what powers was he clothed with?
Yes.
To have commissioned this committee.
Yes, I'm coming there. What's your communication about? I'm so no more gather information. There's nothing wrong with a president let's say now, oh, me pay information on something. After all, when you're president elect, even pay what the lawyers tell me, you are giving security briefings. So me, I didn't find any issue with it. Where I found an issue was something I said. And they come back to New York and I said, sometimes I I feel say political party supporters they be make me on my personal YouTube say omo from full no na ye na be omo banko position. You know why? Let's go into it. Oku the 2 year presentation. Saturday I think I was traveling. I was on flight or something. It me take value me emo shame. Say what to be say ora no mo be no benya 20.1 billion. So at the point I'm call Facebook, this is the evidence. Shall date 10 February. Now me say I missed the presser. How did the oral team arrive at the 21.9 billion USD? Because gather information. You are not an investigating body. It's in this week. Dominic and PMS said that they gathered information. Some of them are even garbage.
Yes.
Aluta metao. Ebi aben FM. Ma ko kachi okuku se ko aluta o. One ma be tre kra wo ma kra o baby aluta de ka nipa fun bia we the certificate go bank and certificate papa. Okuku nua nso obegada. No dia koma craft nja craft na ebe investigation do okuku be jina so be ka aluta nipa bonefo a. Wa mo.
Yes.
Any aluta comment na se no. Ese wani. And na minim ne me week ya Dr. Justice Shams and GH1 interview no kan was say estimate near then high. It's not realistic. So it come back to the point to say and I'm baby say if oral committee cannot deliver the estimated 21.9 billion USD, what is the estimate now 7 months after reviewing the dossier of documents by the team? I hope that Attorney General speaks to that. And the Attorney General pressure no NBC pressure no ba ora no. Yes, this is the background.
And that's why it's self-inflicted.
Exactly. Isn't that the BMK communication is key. I gave you the backdrop. Generally, people didn't perceive the Kufuor government as the best when it comes to corruption. One soon send me a backhand, a chairman could get to at the press. Only 21 billion. That is 7 times of IMF. DBE President Kufuor say no na born from the dark days in the bia no ya chechu man se be nya ba yes campaign the speech ni nyina no 3 billion on by benya na 7 na wo Ghana ha ne say amanfo awia people certainly be agitated about it na yenkoso it is Shams academy level can be bia now on this one in principle I see nothing wrong with the Attorney General and say my update may I watch a lot of these European I have to find details here. And what the lawyer need became be you to him because I'm not a lawyer. But say, Papa be based on this backdrop, Emma update on corruption cases. No, I find nothing wrong with it. Now, what the MPP people who are sharing the Thursday video in FM because they've not listened and because they can come with their own prejudices this. Abrante Hana no almost allegedly what fiscal way about 50.8 billion what thought down here no. My issue is not even about him. My issue is a bigger conversation. Anita, what be a bank account da? Skabia be tomu da bank be a fraud da. Leboa.
Yeah.
Osha NSS scandal. Allegedly, as he give to record G loan with DB. Documents or the COI and you're credible. I've used the word allegedly. Yes, you go say CB a transfer is Kebi any idea. It all comes back to the bank system, transfers near there. So my question was that, is it that Obuwa Bema on the bank system no and check your mana? Because Alita, I told you the information they be ya.
Can you kind of you?
Me say
yes.
Osha NSS scandal. Some say ya mami give to worry or koji loan or bank bi. Or then krata enya papa na koji loan. 2. Abrante some money laundering activities can be enya na dey moving around. 3. You say it be some movies can be. Meboa in the NSS scandal. Osha come no do more then so no say bank movies can be. So my question is say only as uncle for no Bema is it that the bank system with different laws be applied to them than us and I because me I also do consultancy. I receive foreign remittances. I work for a lot of people. I don't have a lot of cash. Questions are 50 times and 40 times to account for your visa. I don't get how people can allegedly transfer these monies. Then it's like there's no red flag because a red flag in buyer can be prevented and I'm a boy. So for me, that is where the conversation is. But you see, because of their hate,
this is very interesting.
Because of their prejudice, because of their ignorance and their haste to comment and not listen, they won't even get it.
The assembly bar, they are pen tem, they are a political doorstep.
TV, no? I wish you can play.
Yes.
I told them, say, the head of supervision unit of the Bank of Ghana must be questioned.
That's true.
The Bank of Ghana governors must be able to tell us. Sabtoni don't approve in way, and in the they must tell us because banks in the when you read the borders report and all that, some of these things were mentioned in the report. We spent in excess of 30 billion US the taxes. And yet they could clean the banking sector. No. But remember another example. Look at the Public Accounts Committee.
Yeah.
Minia, and you want say, it come back to this. Obi awu. Aluta ye kwayi ni bi. Chairman ni busa no council ekobi. Na nipa ni pay ako 26 months. Because the union said to Abeka Hanana, so we MPP needs you will be matem. Me tami
but you see, I feel say you don't even have to waste your energy on that.
You see,
was a while ago me can say the biggest judge on this earth is your conscience.
Yes.
Do you feel say na no a year?
Yes.
Continue with that.
But you interestingly, Obia ya fan for fraud 10 months. You pay.
Yes.
But you power ye kwaye ni bio ye kobi
ayi nim say mortal remains in that way
ye kobi obi pana tonam ni pay ya 26 months e bit me to fidie bi 40,000. So I went on my Facebook and I asked 3 questions. Say one, me menya abadwuma da I've worked in the private sector for the last 5 years. Abadwuma my national service. Is it that state agents omu internal auditors? 1 2 omu internal auditors omu nyoma bi say ya what is the next line of action? Because see Hanan, minimum. Victoria Crowd was in defending the same Abeka say no no kwani this canal allegedly. But then you say, where is our state institutions reactive towards corruption and not preventive? Because multimedia, who could the embassy between and the Kurana? Near from Wahano.
No, there was a banker, me bufu ya had wanted to even close my account. Sika kuma we better my account. Me pesa me withdraw with my ATM. Me call me say the cash cannot be dispensed. Me call bank or me say just me update me records to justify why that amount is in my kitty.
Yeah.
And I was like, how?
Sure. Who's okay? This is supposed to be allegedly so to fee $1.6 million. Per the laws of Ghana, so declaring an asset.
Yes.
Which lies in the bosom of the auditor general. How can someone purchase a dime? You man saw do bank transfer. Utuya cash. Our security agents name will the FIC, SEC, Bank of Ghana. We don't have a system that checks these things. So be too feeble. What you say? When you make a certain amount of transaction, it doesn't ring any red signal. What Nyekas allegedly told you. And this is not the first matter to be at Todang. It happens. Mr. Chef, a public accounts committee. No, you time in a ton of 44,000 or 5,000. You be a ton of 40,000. So my question is, maybe beyond a brand here, I don't know. Maybe I say I'm a cover scan. Make my cousin Jojo some no aluta. You have to offer 500 cedis. Hey, aluta bra. You now we shirt ya rock ya kodom ya ton or boxer ya ton or bodari ya ton. You really be 350. So 150 na aka. Aluta okay. 500 and guess what them 25 ka 150. With the 3 years you are fine. But maybe you scan. Say message some say allegedly fee 2 something go 2.2 billion. So maybe you scan. But for me the bigger conversation is about the state institutions. Why is the audit service? Well, what aluta? Yet to me an internal audit service. Yet to me GRA. Now you have only the year when you be a system flagging. But some Kofi where the alleged normal catcher as one would be a quarter thing. Be saying as one would the answer as a hindrance be any almost smooth. My boss now been that to me $20 $100 CBD University forms some fairly $100. So our banks, our state institutions, financial intelligence, they must be able to make. So I told you to prove the way. The next line of action is for all these financial related state agencies to tell us how these things are possible, because you have a history. Read the Borders report on the banks, how bank managers, bank owners were moving cash around. Is it free for all? Because me, you go say to me, explain the bank and say, "Then sign it." And then no more the end of the year. Allegedly, it's we need to be able to fix it. What you see, Mama at the backdrop. This is Ghana's corruption perception scorecard. And my catch say, "Your democracy, no." Say, "Eko say ya, eko say ya, eko say ya." Now say, "Yamiya diamaha." People lose interest in the politics and the democracy. People lose interest in it. And again, the Arab Spring, when you read about it, when you read about the failing democracies, I say, in focus among folks, that is why I said that it is a corruption perception index. Now, the Attorney General must prove to the whole Ghana, send your own can and and you are supposed to say, answer the TV, so discuss here. It is nonsense to me. Why must our corruption fight me reactionary at the young Kojiska? Say all this can answer no baby scan. I want to see a block size can echo.
Now, I'm quoting something from the Constitution 1992. We share Article 19(2)(c) no. Or say obi aya charge and say we be na say wabokro no ye criminal no. So any panel is presumed to be innocent.
Yeah.
Until he's proved or he pleads guilty.
Yeah.
The Ghana's system there accusatorial.
Yeah.
They say these people so mentioned. Almost faith is yet to be proven in court.
Yeah.
Attorney General say why investigations?
Yeah.
Are we not treading on a dangerous path? Early on, I'll ask them because I said early on, foreign countries in Omoyesa.
Yeah.
In fact, last night I was watching similar presser from the United States.
Yeah.
So it is not ad hoc. But how is this situated in law?
It's because of the contest. The contest is that we have the worst corruption perception in the last 10 years and the certain regime. The regime is perceived corrupt. NBC finance acquire papers. The catcher is 21 billion. What the aluta otihei. This will be the message you basa aluta si form on my 100,000. Anka so nana so mami sisi ameba. What I say?
National Saturday social events will be
exactly. What I say? It is hard doing now. It's in America. I mean, Hana, me, the say allegedly near my so my in
the first
obviously comments inside your own. It's immediate beyond that 20 million. There need to be a broader conversation on your financial intelligence. Now say KuroYiMuNsem. Who's a paper net magana? Ye visa sense them sa KuroYiMuNsem romance scam nessa ni it's linked to some money laundering koko bank kwa paper ne boho companies no create the companies on track record ye den that's where we have a system so we be create company allegedly maybe 5 years can be FM. We need to track all these things. It's no.
Okay.
My last story, we will guess about. My last story is on my mentor. What's the day? Oh my car said those who celebrate, no. Hey, bro, for when I mention those who celebrate, no. Oh man, a bad criticizing. But who say MPP phobia check me video? No, now then I may judge by factor guy. No, I don't know whether they don't listen. I've never judged anybody. I kept using the word allegedly. I kept using as said by the Attorney General. That's what I can say.
Yeah. So in journalism, we call it attribution.
I'm not ignorant of the law.
Yeah.
So I always say that you can hate somebody. There's a relationship between Paul and Demot. You can hate Paul. That's your business. That doesn't mean I should hate him.
Yeah.
I don't dislike people through connections. So you can hate me. It's normal.
That's your business.
That's your business. But at least don't lie or don't misquote me. Now let me give you a context. So can say this. So and that's my second story. This is where Ura began. Let me build a context for you. Your friend will be Ghana Integrity Initiative. It is the local chapter of Transparency International. This is Ghana's corruption scorecard from 2012 to 2024. Okay, Afro-Barometer survey until 2022, the government of the worst corruption perception. Now John Mahama phase 1 or phase 1. Premier Akufo-Addo phase 2 no. Na nyakra. And I've said that my source is Afro-Barometer corruption perception index. They're around 8 and around 9. Now let's go into it. Unya above 50 year. If you near Koninya papa biya. Okay. And the President Mahama ba, let's assume 2012. Right? Because I have the year. 44, 46, 48, 47, 43. So before President Mahama left, the worst corruption perception index Alita, na 43.
Okay.
Meaning that only almost 6 out of 10 in Ghana perceived the Mahama regime as corrupt. Tie brofo me say corruption perception index. Men can corruption reality index. Now President Akufo-Addo by 2017 40, 41, 41, 43, 43, 43, 43, 42. Taluta, yanya simple mass wa. Me no know.
Yes.
So Akufo-Addo's best corruption perception index in 8 years was 43. So Mahama's worst corruption perception index, as in 2016, was Akufo-Addo's best corruption perception index. What does that tell you? It infallibly tells you that the Ghanaian people perceive the Akufo-Addo's government as most corrupt compared to the John Mahama regime. This is data. I didn't manufacture the data. I've given you my sources. So on the back of that, the NDC said they will do something they call Operation Recover or Loot Oral. So if a man for says Orano, ache, fast track court, near the Amala Misano, Yanfa. This is the backdrop. That the Mahama first one that did that. Sada, near Maniaman, ya 2 Numi Biano, Nanya Crano, near 43. Your poster boy, I think, Kwame Pen, the Metro of Yakasa, Kwame Nkrumah number 2 Yaman president, and Oba, you know. The best F43. And then this one be oral. Now, this is where I felt there was a gap in communication. 10 February.
Before you move on to the gap, let's look at the formation of the oral.
Yes.
Time ana Omampani commission oral. Now you're the president elect.
Yes.
So you're president elect until so Obeso Afinamusayano. With what powers was he clothed with to have commissioned this committee? Yes,
I'm coming there. What's your communication about? I'm so no more gather information. There's nothing wrong with the president, let's say, now, me pay information on something. After all, when you're president, like, even pay what the lawyers tell me, you are giving security briefings. So me, I didn't find any issue with it. Why I found an issue was something I said. And they come back to New York and I say, sometimes, I feel the political party supporters, they be a me on my personal YouTube, say, I'm a fan full moon and I be on my bank position. You know why? Let's go into it. I could get 2 year presentation. Saturday, I think I was traveling, I was on flight or something. It me take value me, I must say me. Say, what to be say over no mobile no benya 20.1 billion. So at the point I'm call Facebook, this is the evidence. Shall date no 10 February. Now me say I missed the presser. How did the oral team arrive at the 21.9 billion USD? Because gather information. You are not an investigating body. It's in this week oral and some ban. Dominic and PMS said that they gathered information. Some of them are even garbage.
Yes.
Aluta metan. Ebi abench FM. Ma ko catch you kukusi kwa aluta o. One ma be tre kra wo ma kra o baby. Aluta de ka ni pa fun bia we you. The certificate go bank credit certificate papa. Okuku dia nso obegada. No dia koma craft. Nja craft na dey investigation. Okuku be jina so be ka aluta ni pa bonefo a. Wa mo.
Yes.
Any aluta comment na se no. Ese wani. And na minim ne week ya Dr. Justice Shams and GH1 interview no kan was say estimate ni then high. It's not realistic. So it come back to the point I say. And I'm baby say If oral committee cannot deliver the estimated 21.9 billion USD, what is the estimate now? 7 months after reviewing the dossier of documents by the team. I hope that Attorney General speaks to that. And the Attorney General pressure no. NDC pressure no about oral no. Yes, this is the background.
And that's why it's self-inflicted.
Exactly. Isn't that the communication is key. I gave you the backdrop. Generally, people didn't perceive the Kufuor government as the best when it comes to corruption. One soon send me a back a chairman could the tono at the press. Only 21 billion. That is 7 times of IMF. DDE President Kufuor say no na born from the dark days in the Biano. Ya tetu mine 7 ya ba yes campaign the speech ni nyina no. 3 billion on by Benya 7 na Ghana ha. Yes amanfo we are. People certainly be agitated about it. Na yenkoso. It is Sam say akadomeleva can be bia. Now on this, one in principle, I see nothing wrong with the Attorney General and say, "Oh my addict." May I watch a lot of these European omwe. I have to find details here. And what the lawyer need became be you to him because I'm not a lawyer. But say, Papa be based on this backdrop, Emma update on corruption cases. No, I find nothing wrong with it. Now, what the MPP people who are sharing the Thursday video during FM because they've not listened and because they can come with their own prejudices this. Abrante Hana almost allegedly what fiscal wage about 50.8 billion or thought down here in no. My issue is not even about him. My issue is a bigger conversation. Anita, what be a bank account da? Skabia be tomu da bank be a fraud da. Leboa. Yeah. Osha NSS scandal. Allegedly, as he give to record G loan with DB. Documents or the coy and you're credible. I've used the word allegedly. Yes, you go say CB.
Koban fatilo de nyina abreye wie nana kwadwo Jantuah enche bia obetra se na afie de nkomotwetwe e de abre wene enkomo pinu a ewofie ha. And of course one of the interviews ebekoso na eni se o messe with one of Ghana's finest gentlemen our bebo adwuma pa na sa gentleman we ne ho nsem chese wa utimi se oyobi a no ogina mu a campaign against corruption. Then nana kwadwo Jantuah ne betra se na ya papa nsem mu Ghana corruption baby a yefri ni baby a ya bidru mampani John Dramani mama e de ni dwumadi bi nso hye ne nsa de ne ka eku ho a eso mu di dwuma so far waka sem bi ama nipa bebre susu se na ene ye ukoka eku no ho ye den se me kan ase wadwen ye akoso o de tamu kutwu na nana kwadwo Jantuah betra se a ono opani kase no ye betwetwe nkomo ha na emu nsem nyina no watumi ehu ma memfa happy birthday Sronko enkoma Vincent Kwadwo Dakun ene your birthday Vincent Kwadwo Dakun or Ashama we adwuma wo Casapreco company or Spintex branch no happy birthday to you nyame nshawa wo dano so na onye wo kese pa na bibia nko we free odofo pa utwetwo mutru vida bewa St. Louis Jubilee School ho and ononso enti happy birthday to you Vincent Kwadwo Dakun. And of course another one to me nuaba Mrs. Star Ahonfe Ernestina happy birthday to you Ernestina and eye wawoda nyame nhwa wawoda no so na onye okese pa ma nkwatentia ahoden ewumu na bibia enkoyie mfama pa onminua no ne ho efe ese eno manyina enkoyie mfama na ne da wakoma so no oma ne emrem ochecheni wo ye ticheni a chese wagentete awie na mo twen se aban ebe postumu ana obefremu eminim se birthday yechi no you hear good news nyamema good news imra na mampani mu nhyehyeye mu no yemfa mu adwuma na mo so mu nya adwuma nyame hya na onya okese Ernestina bibia enkoyie emfa ma wo pa right ensem no na ekoso wo Ghana so hu na ade ba ko aya na ha dwene pa ne se obesori na ebi a wonam kwan so kɔ no wahu sɛ bola ka etwam na bola ka no atete fi agukwam na nei di abaso pa ya abobo ya bola ka abobo ya bola moto abobo ya bola abobo ya ha dwene wo kuromu apapapa we ye tech die o tech junction ye yan re ne wa ye wo kire se ade no kura sa age kwan na fa cars no kura nya ba bi mfa enti prosifo ni hu se enti wo mu twam ho no a mu hu se wo ma loadu ball ya ma na foro abrosan ya na ye mo fe no kwa na akoji egu na hwie egu kwan mu basa ekuro be kurani kire se odwene ho a wonte ase ni otwam barrier no ode kɔ no ode ba na ye loadu ball yi ni ehua nkrofo ebi kura de we kura de se ye kakra ebi de kura de net bi bia kura nguso ye de plywood adwoso ne ye de nam kwa mu sa na press fo gina woni wo mu twam te se bola card ye nche no bola card o ye mistake kura ye nche no press fo mpe bola nti de ope bi otimi ye ne kwan ni mu de kura asemi mttd fo no mo nhwe yie bola cards no mo hadwene bola abobo ya fo no wo mo hadwene wo kwan mu pa wa already ye ya efe kuro no mama na ye tan mpese bibia ba efe okro mu a edi akura ni education minister Haruna Idrusu nso kire se sese no etifu ye no ade no a kire se ye de ko secondary school no SHS no mo mpene ema no mo ko ye omutiri no so ye nkoye beauty contest wo school no no mo modi character enti wo mo mpene ma akwada bia mfatiri tintin bia ma ho nes why oti akotwa ntentem kransa no wawura school no asem we enye easy ebi kasa ho awofo ni bi ahyase kasa awonso adwene ye wosen anope enkomodie wo hopi osi yemfe ye akrom kasa nkyerade sese twi eve enaga no osi yemfa nkyerade ene ye krom kasa ti basic schools no primary schools no ne adede ba ni nyina no momfa twi eve enega ye krom kasa amfa nkyerade asem we ya ka na happen ne nkwada ne ntiase ye ene minister me no we ya adwene na no ma bi wo ho no a wo ka akwada no mu wonte so won hyeda nte brofo a chese de wo kire da ne mu nyina no aye okwa enam na so achi wante enu achi yes boys ne girls no wo mo mpe condom use enti Ghana AIDS Commission kire se AIDS no kosoro wo mo mpe condom kire se wo mu hia wo penewro ena nei AIDS no kire se kosoro saa Ghana AIDS Commission kire se ade we nye ti omu bodawuru bon ho ban ehu hia pa lastly yenkwanhia hodo a ekoso na wotwe awie ye mu de etwa mu ye na wie ye enkran kwantempon so cars ye hwirigu ye nya asem ketwa nipa ahwere omo nkwa nya asem ketwa no mamu no ye kan kwanhia se nipa awu a ye fa ne normal ye nwene ho biem san se de ye hu ane se efie bi na asem wabam eta yonko ho a eta dua ho ye twa kwan na mfa wo dan ho a wo se kwan ne tene ni bibi mu ye timpanimfo nwene ho na enkran ni kuma se kwan ne de aye owudonto a wo famu a na nyame de wo koba wo kɔ aso dem a mesre korɔhye no yikese pa na ne ekoso no de ano ɔden won krankwam His Excellency John Dramani Mahama yesrew big push no start Kumasi to Nkran road no ende hia sanse kasa kese no a wo mu kum ketwa no kwan so no enya asem ketwa ka kese doji portu na ketwa nya den ene wo makum nipa saa na wotwe awie nipa awu nyangro enwie ye kura no kire se MC bi a chese wono no former MC Northton honorable Osborn K Divine wow kan kwanhia wow so hu enti mampani wadaroma Kumasi to Nkran road no de ayo wudonto emi se mo ba mo nam soro de bia mo de helicopter gbagbagbagba no mabesi so hu yenso ye nam fam ye niska ye fa pre ye srew kwan no an ye hia mo meye mayen na yewu ye nkrofo wu hwe kai di aye enipa sen ne beka sprinter we nipa egum nipa makomako du ba ko ne wuye ye se abusua ba ko ntafo mienu kire se wo mo maso kan wo mawu na beti buebuebu obi fie obi nka ho nti ne ho atɔ no yesre mo sika no de o man se o hwe sika yi na ano ye bobɔ so nkrofo afa yi a ye wosika ye betumi aye monshas ye big push no Kumasi to Accra road ehia pa na cyber security nso ye adwuma ntentan fidie so no a wo mo abie social media pages ni ade ne ye no ma bebre YouTube no ne no ma ye de namu a WhatsApp no ye chat ne ye di bullying crofo onim se cyber security no ma bebre ho cyber bullying ni no ma bebre ho enti cyber bullying na crofo ye no ene ne ye keka ka actaba se wo ye adwuma won tenten fidie so kra no di dwuma bi wo so a wo mo koye nsakiraye ewo mu a bill na mo de kɔ no enkrofo ahyase ye kasa ho ye se ano ɔden ni nyina ne se ye bema sa adwumakuo yi cyber security authority no ye bema wo mutumi pa a kyese enya asem ketwa wukuru mu a wo mutumi ba hwehwe wonsem mutuware ama 7 days notice ye ba hwehwe o YouTube no o ho ahwa na wo ye ni nyina ye ba hwehwem ne ye wo ye wo ho bia ombe ye investigation ahwehwe wo mu hwie no mu nse bibi nye wo mu a wo mu atimi de wo famra kwa so prosecute wo mu asa afan kyese ensempi ne ye se wo mu ya ye wo mu ho police ayo wo mu ho prosecutor asa ayo wo mu ho court asa fine na ade we no mo se act no bill na ekọ no wan hwe ye gitumu a ebe hadre mu nkomodie pi no a hyase a eba kakrakra ubetie wo kasafidie so etwen ho aba nsem no dɔso eba esi aba enwum wei na kora du agema
mamen kaima but they be am yan answer wo ye new nti wo se bikini e ma wade bem frefre bikini wo se ma no se bikini na ho beach ana akono but bikini no ade bi wom wo bibia wo se bikini wo bibia o aha wo bi wo so wo nyina e den na e nkobo e wona na we tie hu amane ho e wona we tie na e na ebe hu amane oh admit many bejo oh mama first class oh bagi me to be amount oh ye be didi Lancaster no problem to ni be didi nkoma na bikini no ba bia hu na eyiba eyibo wana nyina yi okay that is how I see pose. The pose are like bikinis as a partly conceals a partly reviews send ye katatsu no e say yi kire kakra mamen kan de musa dan kwa say Dr. Barima maintains his lead in MPP primaries, but lost 3 percentage points compared to September 2025. Or say poll no in October, or be September. September no na Barima gusu lead, but to compare September to October na Barima swat by 3 percentage points. And was say Kennedy Japan and Brian Champo gained 2 percentage each, but undisclosed voters skyrocketed, whilst undecided delegates saw huge decline. Or say Brian Kennedy omumu pajai by 2%. Omu so omu nka baabi omu beto abakono ekosoro. Ana omu so omu ye undecided no eba afom. Undecided say onwu say obedo beko Barima ananso ade beko Kennedy undecided undisclosed ya men kan kire wo. Ali tata undisclosed ya men kan kire wo. But undecided there means am vema Jantuah na am vema Luta. Okay. And what the bell since Barima and I'm 44. And I hear Kennedy 119. Brian was 5%. Education was 1. Kennedy upon 1. On not disclose a 15 now on decided 15. But I looked at there. And I applaud Mr. Ranka. So I had
undisclosed near saying 15.
15.
That's a huge percentage.
That's a huge percentage.
What is causing that?
Remember so. So the research in the bar one was a before no. Ebe so mu bu na adwumenti no. Unse na MPP for na edina tan na de omo ntimi share we ni bi. You see the hypocrisy I speak about. Eyo no ne ba mi akoma ni nti de hey Musa Dankwa. Kofo esi Musa Dankwa kindergarten research na de omo ntimi share no research no. But oko TikTok no. Ono ye na research ochichi no say he has an affinity say. You can't affinity it's not conclusive. It's a feeling. It's a perception how you perceive it to be. Say, San Kufumi undecided no. Good one no Kennedy for. So it's a good assumption to him to add the 19 to the 15. Now they do 34%. And you see, this week on my channel, the critical analysis on YouTube, my analysis I make say September no so Barima so take akra. When you look at what be reduced by 3 percentage point between September and October, no, what happened?
That is huge.
That I'll come to the analysis for you. Brian and Kennedy went up by 2%. What happened? You can agree, sir. Let's start with Brian. Last month, or starting with boom, you know. Who said there was what of talkability about him? Fertilizer issue nearby. Sikasem, on it, you were a class life on radio Abdom Okaya. On the cocoa syndicated issue, and the chairman and the buyer saying, Bessia may find the cocoa, you know. Again, sir, a timidity in some zombo, no, data, no. Yes, Kennedy, you know. I follow by many Kennedy campaign because this is how many people could be winning. Okos PFM. Now, Mr. Day, I did a Kennedy campaign as a sound. When I even told Dr. Mudamia team in that video, now me and say they should start exploring it. She said Kennedy on John delegate them go radio station. No, a town for Gubi. What's when I'm away? Meba, and all the cobos one a cotton. Moton 1,500 or the car, your ton 1,000 Ghana. Maybe a factory, Mamma, they expanded. So Kennedy now, or any of whom comes in school practicals. So what you know, it's because you're my mom chance, man, you're not be school. Practicals, they say Kennedy, you know, no, so fugu. Now, those are the drink binam. Share battery. That is what you go say to me as a difference from Kennedy campaigns and your starting business. The practicality of the economics, you know. And I'm Baba, you know, it's still how we used to be delegates. Mina me do interoperability by Mina me say. I feel say and only in the comfort zone. I believe such was started subjecting itself to the media. It will also bring another side of it that people may see. I need to tell you something. This is mainly passive reasons for the drop in Barima and the appreciation in Kennedy. Kennedy, the who's a now or core grounds now, and the practicals or the adrenaline buffum. No allow fema presentation 3 minutes. Baba share from a mass market. Ultimate structural rigidities. Ultimate macroeconomic stability. Near 10% inflation 9%. I'm here say toast na no turn at inflation 20%. No. This inflation na tomato no cost of 50 pesos. Musumi bia and then a cost by 10 pesos. I don't that here. So that is the difference I see. Now the advantage of this poll is that while the poll says Barima is leading, the poll is also telling us that Kennedy is picking momentum. And we have November, December, and January. And January is January 31st, 3 months.
Yes.
Can Kennedy keep picking momentum? Can Barima be consistently reducing? So this is where the strategies come in. Ahano, and then where you say, we have full you say we nan to say ani nyansafo ani na say nyansafo tenase there are these probable reasons accounting for Barima 3% drop, are these plausible reasons for the 2% hike in Kennedy and Brian, and fashion a strategy. But this week also saw something beautiful the president did. And I have a difficulty calling the former president. Once a president was a president. President Kufuor at 82 penny. I think say apart from 2007, me NPP contester. I time since our contest with that. Now then I make a obi say for me, the biggest challenge of the NPP going into 2028, you know, nema miensa. One, unity. Because and someone will catch up unity no. I did say biom compare you and Beckham. It's papa na me who pictures and I was very happy. Amanfobia pictures has a biom munana ade. Ebu was a picture who cha motion mini hobi. And na me better see amanfo yi mini hobi, but the gesture is nice. But papa no. I feel say omon form nancy from kakra. These are the men of the MPP. Hakwan Owusu Ajima. Mimi ni Okofrodia. Ni Babenof. Ya Bema. Hakwan Owusu Ajima. Papu Owusu Ankoma. Kwame Nabatels. All these men, with the greatest of respect, they don't match up to their pedigree in the MPP. Oh, they need to start speaking to them, to speak to their people. As the most president Kufuor, I was very happy. And a hands one name so be America Krebi, minority back. General Secretary, Chief Executive Bra, Council of Chairman for neck Chairman Bra, na candidate na. So what's the deal? After meeting, unsa se tu na ko form kakra. So be kanu kra. After meeting, unsa se
and run a journal at the ABB. I don't know how true it is. As a from Kwabena Japan campus, I don't know, but it's stand to be.
Picture near by any. Omenimie, there's a bianene.
Yeah.
Minim. Akoko on a psychologist, team. But again, poles are like bikinis. Poles are like bikinis. It is 3 months away. Whoever will properly diagnose this feedback, the summary of it, and form a strategic move, will win the 31st January elections. Okay. That is my view.
Okay, but that's pay. In education, when you have time now, can kind. JMPG, nom Sigmund Fred, nom near there. I'm back at you say you reduce your DBI, your domains in science you will develop it. The cognitive, the affective, and the psychomotor. What you've done today, you know, as a watch how well all these domains of yours are well developed. Thank you.
Yes, I think around 8. I'm saying I'm quite testing me. Say finally, why any October post no, mamen kaimon. But the me answers are we new tea. Who's a bikini? And my wadi bam for bikini. Who's a man who say bikini na home beach and akono. But bikini no, adiye bi wom. Who be bia? Who's a bikini who be bia? Aha, who be? Who so who ni na e den na e nkobo. E wona na we tie hu amane. I want to wait him any big woman here. Oh, I met many bejo. Oh, mama first class. Oh, baggy me to be amount. Oh, you be the Lanka. Oh, Lancaster, no problem. To do the baby in command. The king the baby and yiba a yibo when any. Okay. That is how I see pose. The pose are like bikinis. As a partly conceals, a partly reviews. Send a katatsuno. A say you chiro kakra. Mamen Kandi, Musa Dankwa say, Dr. Barima maintains his lead in MPP primaries, but lost 3 percentage points compared to September 2025. Or say, poor no, I am October, or be September. September no, I am Barima Gusu lead, but to compare September to October, na Barima swats by 3 percentage points. I must say, Kennedy, Japan, and Brian Champion gained 2 percentage each, but undisclosed voters skyrocketed, whilst undecided delegates saw a huge decline. Or say, Brian and Kennedy, Omumu Pajai by 2%. Omumu Kabebu, Omumu Bakono, Echo Sro, and Omumu undecided, no, Ebafum. Undecided, I say, on who say, or better Bako Barima, and answer the Bako Kennedy, undecided, undisclosed, I mean, can't you know. I mean that here. Undisclosed your men can't know. But undecided there means I'm even Jantuah and I'm even Luta. Okay. I know the bell since Barima and I'm 44. And I hear Kennedy 119. Brian of 5%. Education of 1. Kwabena upon 1. On not disclosed 15 now undecided 15. But Luta had there. And I applaud Musa Dankwa. So I had
undisclosed near saying 15.
15.
That's a huge percentage.
That's a huge percentage.
What is causing that?
Meba so say so the research ne ba won usa before no ebe so mu gu na argument no usa na MPP for na edi na tanya de omo ntimi share we ni bi. You see the hypocrisy I speak about. Eyo no ne ba mi akoma ni nti de hey Musa Dankwa kofo esi Musa Dankwa kindergarten research na de omo ntimi share no research no. But oko TikTok no ono ye na research chechi no say he has an affinity say you can't feel it here. It's not conclusive. It's a feeling. It's a perception how you perceive it to be. Say, some conform undecided no. Good one no. Kennedy for. So it's a good assumption to him to add the 19 to the 15. No? Now they do 34%. And you see, this week on my channel, the critical analysis on YouTube, my analysis I make say September no so Barima so take a crack. When you look at what be reduced by 3 percentage points between September and October, no, what happened?
That is huge.
That I'll come to the analysis for you. Brian and Kennedy went up by 2%. What happened? You can agree, sir. Let's start with Brian. Last month, or starting with boom, you know. Who said there was a lot of talkability about him? Fertilizer issue nearby. Sikasam on it you were class live on radio Adom Okaya on the cocoa syndicated issue and the chairman and the buyer saying Besia me find the cocoa year no again sir ethnicity in some zombo no data no yes Kennedy no I follow by many Kennedy campaign because me says how many people back on the baby Oko Spear FM. Now me steady a baby a Kennedy campaign as a sound. When I even told Dr. Mubami team no in that video na me and say they should start exploring it. She say Kennedy onko delegate na nim ko radio station. No atamfu gubi. What's we na mo ye no ha. Me ba e na de ko boso na koton. Mo ton 500 euro de kwa e bi ton 1000 Ghana. Maybe factory bi ama mo na mo de expand. So Kennedy now oya ne hom ko o me kon ze ye ni school practicals. So what you know book mu no. It's because you ma no chance man you me no school. Practicals they say Kennedy ye no. No wa so fugu no. Na so dey drink bi nam. Share batabi. That is what you go say to me as a difference from Kennedy campaigns and your starting business. The practicality of the economics no. And am Baba mi ade no. It's still how we used to be delegates. Me na me do interoperability by me na me say I feel say and only in the comfort zone. I believe that so started subjecting itself to the media. It will also bring another side of it that people may see. I need to understand here. This is mainly passive reasons for the drop in Bamia and the appreciation in Kennedy. Kennedy, the who's now no grounds now, and the practicals or the admin buffum. No allow fema presentation 3 minutes. Baba share from a mass market. Uti na catch structural rigidities. Uti na macroeconomic stability. Ni atemi say inflation 9%. Amonti say ntos na no turn at inflation 20% no. This inflation na tomato go cost 50 pesos busumi bia and then e cost by 10 pesos. I don't that here. So that is the difference I see. Now the advantage of this poll that while the poll says Bamia is leading, the poll is also telling us that Kennedy is peaking momentum. And we have November, December, and January. And January is January 31st, it's 3 months. Yes. Can Kennedy keep peaking momentum? Can Bamia be consistently reducing? So this is where the strategies come in. Ahano, and then we say, we have you say, we nanti say, ani nyansafo. Ani na say nyansafo tena se. Are these probable reasons accounting for Bamia 3% drop? Are these possible reasons for the 2% hike in Kennedy and Brian? And fashion a strategy. But this week also saw something beautiful the president did. And I have a difficulty calling the former president. And once the president was a president. President Kufuor at 82 penny. I think say apart from 2007, me NPP contester. I time since our contest winner. Now then I make catch obi say for me the biggest challenge of the NPP going into 2028 no enema miensa. One unity. Because in someone will catch them unity no. I did say biom ko pay you and beka ho. Iti papa na me hu pictures and I was very happy. Amanphobia pictures as a biam mu na na ade. Ebu was a picture wu twa motion mini hobi. Anyam na me be test amanfo yi mini hobi but the gesture is nice. But papa we no. I feel say omun form nancy from kakra. These are the men of the MPP. Hakwa no usu adwuma. Me ni okofobia. You da benof.
Ai vene ye ni mpanyifo akese mienu ene betwetwe nkomo baako yera Daniel Domelevo onna na ye former auditor general oni se papai efa corruption wa oyobia on pesa de no kra na oba ye no me hu se enioma bebre wo so aye koso wo aban enyumakuo mu sikadie left and right ono na expose you a lot edrume bi kra woni na na dodanko akufuado ni MPP aban na challenges bebre kra mo pamo no because e court no court kire say kwan a na akufuado pamo no na enimra kwa mu enti enche ne betwetwe nkomo various issues ene be ka ho asem se watia ye Minister of Education Haruna Idruso Honorable na odi atudwa se efri na ekọ sukuu mu ewo se obia de betro made from basic to junior high school no enye o mother tank echese twi na eya asantimema be yusu twi okọ Accra obe yusu Ga okọ Northern Regional kasa ewo ho no eno na teacher ni betimi ayusu na odi atra de na ho asem baaye no ebisi eye ebisi enye se eye se enye no ene ebeba mu na afi yabusa ususu se yemfa twi se bia wuti twi a yemfa twi ene nkyra de na we ready nso eba behu ni good and the bad in Shiraya fan en comfort say wo ko China wo ko other countries a mother tank kasa na ye de twa wa fruma no eno na wo de kyra de eno ne ye de chuma de ntu akwa na ni obenyine na adwuma bie ampa but the ho nsem so wo ho ye be ba mu de nti e ma ne kansa na minister no okaye no oye aware se emra bi wo ho dada na de okaye ade a ono ankasa na eka anase emra tachiri every say answer na minister abeka bibi no jese emra bibi efe ne policy etachiri oka ne saa owo ho kwan se obeka ne saa na de eken say etwi ene ye de kyira de a subject be to say maths science inti e bia photosynthesis obeka ne twi sen oxygen obeka ne twi sen hydrogen obeka ne twi sen algebraic expression obeka ne twi sen logical reasoning obeka ne twi sen simultaneous equation obeka ne twi sen Venn diagram obeka ni twi sen slope and mapping obeka ni twi sen differentiation and integration obeka ni twi sen monocotyledon and dicotyledon tap roots obeka ni twi sen abusia emra na bade nanso ye bebusa questions bebre ya ready and I say ye can say Inshra 104.5 na interestingly no e idea ye bedwene ho so obekaya last week ma hye bibia se de ma hye ase no se yenye bibi na ekwan a ye fa so esua de no problem ho problem e wo ho me hye ase ka kire o na me ka say yenjai at least every week bia no me de bibi beba ama wate enoma bi a me kanase say GES Ghana Education Service Minister of Education last week na me sha say na me nya wieye awofo bi nso a me wieye kra o mahia me umaka o mo say nana ye ma no say o machi ahyase eye o mo ya omachi ahyase eye omuya na uye owofo a pachotie ma oba no hyase fa ne ko hospital nko cheke se ebia ne spine no eye okay because se me de me mani kosuku a jese bag no me ana metam me kura me ye panyin no otam bag na bag no emu odu hwe mpanyifo mu ntie ye kan sem bi wo ho a Mama manin drew level be manin creative problem and san na matie de a ye ka no we any kwan say ye court demonstration and san who say enkra no ekwan a ye fa so ni books no mo to ene de yesi o mo fa enhye o machi emra fie no ebekuye ebe prayen prayen ma no Minister of Education Ghana Education Service assembly ba ni e kan no mayimani si etiamo ni ekeka bi kire mo de amobete enu ntina to de bia
Obanwa yesenkra ni mu ade. Because this is so big better social media. No, I did you be a term because when the do a tema on say asam na or cano ubeti. Inti ye ba ye beka no yesremu last week me shase catch say enyoma na nkra ni sua ni nkoyi books no edos dodo emma enkwada akraketwa 2 years 3 years 4 years 5 years 8 years 9 10 years na chie ne because books nko aye say onso angu na chi moyimani Ghana education obi anka wansem obi emia na no na yo wofo na wutie mi a say ya me ani ambra ye ma no ye kra ye mpanyifo yi say ade bi boyechi ne de ko a hwede ye yechi ba ye mia ya no ye mpese be kan wansem ase ne anya Minister of Education and kwadano apart from syllables na ebia ye jiriga ye hu de ekoso no books na ye force momo eto asa books no ke betimi de ama ye nia baako ana ni nia baako a okono say e was the bi ato the same book because assignment no e was ye no book nim. Meanwhile, we are near Sato exercise book. Me can ho asem last week. And Krana shall see a complaining omechi yomoya. Ye bestre. She enra me birthday 6. She de so onye. She assignment yes onye je photo so mami. Stay 6 new. I on no krano. Just say ye cram penny for cry yentimi nye stay sad de kire no ye what junior high school JSS ena form 2 ne form 3 ho baby ena ye sha say ye sua sad de no akrakuto wo stay 6 assignment a ye say onye oye os onti asente ena me na wo say me kire no me de ma ne maame kire no no churo. Enti ye bua nkwada na na enye te se me ba no wabon it is because akoda ne ntiase enti GS ya kasa asem ya wumfie Minister of Education asem na ye ka no eye say ye simple sa ho mo pese ye tisi kwa mu ne ehye ties ne ye keka nyoma ansa na watie ya na ase dey ya fa assignment no to so fast. Stay says and your ma yes unsia at this time. And no assignment yes on tiasie. Akra kotwa yes unsia be 10 subjects or the year 10 subjects or the year day. Sa assignment you yam penny for cry yentimi nye yam penny for yentimi nye yes yam ma akra we akra kotwa afi na onyini onsia sa nyoma we ye kyese enya dempo. For assignment no so answer the way out to slamay. Bra Facebook ne be hwe bi. Ghana penny for tesa de bia your car no bia yinani till say you hu say a problem. Anything na nkra ni say so muntimi hu de ekoso no. For assignment no to so ankasa. I will come here. Assignment yes wonye enra. I said that this is my assignment. I don't understand it. She question na yebusa me say wo de bra wa wo se me boa no bra Facebook na wo de wa be hwe bi wo be hwe bi a na answer mame wo de bra ne be answer mame. First one, differentiate na krakoto differentiate between direct root system and indirect root system. Second question, which system of rule was regarded as stronger system? She brofu we kra na me yam say me the policy of assimilation can be divided into 3 aspects. Name them. It's a been same way na stay sesini. I don't know. I feel no policy of assimilation. And dear political science krano edema womuno. Stay sesini. I was so kosua basic nyoma na building ageno. Policy of assimilation. Why would you me policy of assimilation and the MPC policy of assimilation? No. Do do say na tiase. GES for policy of assimilation states ni back here give 4 reasons for assimilation policy or direct rule system. Chansamfo ankra yisua at this time or the other. And some hunu way na akra na yesu onsua at this time or the other. State 3 each of advantage and disadvantage of direct rule system. Akra no kra wontimi ntro wontimi afekra na nensa eje krata so the way si tro. Bakuni list 3 features of A direct rule system, B indirect rule system. Number 2 state 3 reasons for indirect rule system. 3 outline 3 of both advantage and disadvantages of indirect rule system. Stay says ni shede ade we kra ye kra social studies kra no na de mai ye government kra na ade we de mai friend mami odi ye kra no na e de mai na hye ye fra bibi pedagogy ye ka pedagogy a wono masua de e wo education be kire wo se e ye kwan a ye fa so kire ade pedagogy ekwan a ye fa so kire obi ade na tie se akra no ewo from 0 to 10 years a ade bia wo kire no no ewo se ye pictures more hwebuku wan broni ekwan a from omahu se from 0 to 10 years no se o kire akra de a ye ntro bebre ye ma atroye ne no so more ye ma pictures eye more enti broni hwe broni ne storybook ubiema me kirew ubiema hwe enti ubon se test ne wa ha test ni nie ba hwe pictures me de kirew amwahu one day we broni si eye ne nioma enti test ni ye kakra bi ba uhu pictures more enti o kenkan a ohu ade no no ohu test ni more say na broni tina broni obenyini no nim de o kan because ade na wo sua no ohu wo pictures mu ade na wo sua no ohu say the pictures aka ho nti wo sua or the picture ti me ka ho sa na abofra wedi from 0 to 10 years ne ye no 0 to 10 years no ye ma pictures ne do so chen say obeturo bebre eyesa akra no onhu say wo ka tap root a mani hu root no say wo ka mango a entro mango because sa bre no onya na adwiri mu nya hu say otimi read nyoma bebre sa ne re befi enti the pictures ene ye de kira ade at that time broni ehu sa nyansa we adentimi ntimi nsua hwe nsem hu na enra assimilation ko hede ya traman krano jefa to so policy of assimilation ne ho ahwan wo de hwede the way ya traman krani so nkosu at this time ye mpanifo kra ye kenkan kra ye kenkan kra ne ani aha at this level there be fa eyina nkasa assimilation notes na nkasa na hwe note no there's no pictures nothing. How do you expect the child so better the wo kana say yeah, cramping for common divisions of direct rule, political assimilation. Now, the laws for the colonial administration were deliberately made in France. The French government exploited and otherwise looted all nature. Stay sesini, Sanyoma way. Yempen for crown, Fabibrine to Somami. Some reason for indirect rule. Akrakotwa there's no picture into pedagogy asema making there's no picture nothing into akrani shan ni real crab befi because there who can want tiase me ba no say that I don't understand this when you so unsia stasis father other knows no beto so prekese she how do you expect the child to know this? Adia mi ken ya hwani ankane a me ani ambre na nsem hunu ankra ni sua adia level na ya nhwe a ye benyini there will be a problem eno na obenyini no na eno ane say yes we twa BC onte de ekonase stay sesni de osua there are no pictures. Na sabi enkrampo ye mpanyfo kra yesua dia pictures nka ho a. And at stage 6 level ye fa bi visualization. Visualization. Enti akra no osua no na pictures wo ho, na paintings wo ho, na ohu de ekoso. Ye di baba what is babedies ha. Adeni ye hu sa. For the other one to sumai. Akra koto state 6. How do you expect you so making kinds and nyoma bebre on kin kanya day? What is this? What is this? She beshem kwadano beshe bra broche ne beshe obidie. Bra beshe the way teacher ni kra ni nipa ne to as compared to ye de. Enti akra no ote de oye no ohu de ye ka. She look at the picture, look at the teaching. Enti akra ni nyini a wo ti wo be ko asore de makọ bompa ye se rado meko, but akra no ye building na adwene at that time. Ye building na adwene at that time. Beshe abrochire nkra ye treni omu enti wo ya na abrochire nkra de enya abrochire nkra bibia o because wo muti ase se ye treni omu ye akra kutu at this time no ye be 10 subjects what the heading ya kan wasema obi amfi unnecessary debate ne ye ho adwuma wa ha unnecessary debate why not unnecessary debate. Into ye teacher ni na akra ne ba na otwa ni nyina enye ono na ye awofo no na awofo no krokohwe AI awofo no AI bra Facebook na be share teaching me your teacher ni me your teacher ni even at the university level say me kire bibi na nkra na me ma me sada na me the YouTube na bibi so omunhwe de ye ka ho asem no because me ntimi nkokire mass communication na me nkoka console na me nkoka antenna na nipa ni hu antenna da ba ye de ya kenkaya books ya read ya ultimate read books bi na won sheda ntiase and then YouTube aba and then a lot of things about dia wo kire no obi aye hu video ma kra no nkohwe video no kra na ye problem in Shiraya fan e wo se wo ti asese na nkra na aba no e technology omu hwe nyoma more omu nkenkan nyoma more omu hwe nyoma more omuhwe nyoma no no mu ehu pictures more and omu de car sem ene sa na de kire ne tie sa na de kire ne tie sa na e kire de Germany me oho aye training me DW trained as a journalist. They will always talk about visualization ade bia wo kire no visual fatwa faye say fakwaha koye ni say this is how we were being taught. Enti ebetena sia hwenisa enkra de omusua nyew omo besua ni ya promote omu stay 4 to stay 5 akra no cross stay 4 no we ntimi ansua hwe ya de ko stay 5 nice ha ni ko stay 6 no ko Jesus on ti ade na ye kanase. Enti is somebody listening to me shebroni de ne behwe wo de
Isra 104.5 FM.
Oh, Jesus Christ. The here na ye de benyini na ye de be nyoma no. Ye mfa ho. Ti betena sia kopim se be create problem amai. Ne create problem mai wia. Then we will complain. The creative problem may be we will complain because yenye ya adwen say ebe bibia fa ho yenye ya adwen say ebe create nyoma ebe boan. No, let me use this. Let me cut this and let me use this one. Mami use we are. Yeah, let me use this. You understand? Because like I was saying, our educational system is a problem. Say, akranu nyini na wanya more visualization. Now what is remembering? Mupa obianko be Bloom's taxonomy. Jeff Pemami eche beka wansem Bloom's taxonomy. Why yeah certain systems say, so remembering what is osmosis, what is photosynthesis, no, and why just say practicals create the last level need create. Say onya huna onya sa mental picture na otimi create practical. Eti broni o sha asina na ye no nsa no nyuma ade no ohu enti onyina otimi ye de wo so ye ena da ho no. Bloom's taxonomy no de. Also remember yeah, what is memorize, why repeat, identify, ye apply, ye analyze it, ye evaluate, ye create, and to once ye ben yine drew baby no, na ye intimate create way. Ye caso be a being, chesen nipan when ya 8 is, what is now no troye. But I can on your practicals and I adding. Something is wrong with the kind of syllabus ye manage here. It doesn't make sense. Let's work on it. Anyway. My any special guest entry and Komo. Because was the former auditor general. So we pay auditor general met me as a celebrity because I buy mu celebrity because o change the face of auditing. O me who say and yet to say sorry ani age nyoma ne de akwa kogu na ye ma obi ehu. And o sha ase no ye me who say Ghana say you sika o. Na nkrofo wie bi dibia ehun sem bebre ebai. I'm sure say ne legacy ni bi na ene ye ni abre ne president nso ani abre say ye audit wie ni ehun so adi sika fast track ye be ehun adwuma ye ra Daniel ya Domelevo, the former auditor general of Ghana, and I am a special guest. Open your match. But John Huye. Yenso yen huye pa. Enim se woni bre nso nyame nhira se waje bre se oni ebetwetwe nkomo.
Medase.
And I no pay as our guest. First of all, Mamindi Kambusaw. Ghana te saying, baby awe jine ene nyoma awe hui. Ghana ete saying.
Yo medase. Mamimfa akwenye iso na mintia kumasefo. Miba kumasi ache kakra. Na ansana meka Ghana ho asem no uka education eto makuma sopa. Because addition yesian moyen as a member. Ni no me apart from skills na wo ka ho asem no. Ethics nso enkan ya busi addition ho. Nti atumfo ne aketegia omako school aben pa no ye de ngumasua na se adesua no obeboa ye man no ye de boy ye man amum. So our education is rather being used to destroy the country instead of developing or building the country. So that is my view, and I support your position very well. We have to change our education. Now, say yeba ye my Ghana.
Before say yeba Ghana hokrana, I'm interested in this one because I know you me preamble so that we zoom into Ghana because ni naka Ghana. I'm just thinking if we say my argument is yes say nkra kro ma bay yebe kan so oma says say nkra nti say tete de no. But me ya aware say oma bay president nyina ye nkrofo a anoma bay ministers ye nkrofo a ye tete omo tete bre no. Inti tete mrena na yese no de ne tete baye ye tete nipa ye ye kire mu se mo mokron no courtesy for boys and girls no eye dan na after 68 years it appears say muna ye tete mu ye no ye nse da nya the proper dividend in faso bebre de betia ni se ya broker agu ni apam we ni akowe yese we awia de omunyina nso ye mpanyifo. What happened?
Ne ebaye ne se minia madrimu no entitie eye pa se wotiti akwara yi a obetimi anyi aye panyimpa Nemo interesse what it ni no be penyimpa obetimi asesa na edien na ma se wode Ghana ana Africa etu amanoni ana bruchire ho a ye dance and say ye need systems and I mean say the car system e wo twi mu
inhihye
yeah ye need inhihye ebema wa brabo no akotin se wo fa bruchire a wo de fa obi free Kumasi anasin kran abonte so na fa ne koto abruchire wo man nchire bia enso so obedi mraso obedi time so obedi bibia so because a home system no emma kwan ze misbehave enu na de bia mebo hu dewro se yamfa sa enhihye na anto yamamu anase abrabomu a ebe hadwen enu na edi ehwamoyi si ye betimi aye nhihye se emfa ho se wo ye Asante anakumase dishe anase wo ye omampanyimba wo ye we na se etia mra na ye du be fa mra kwan no so nse mitaka bibi se potokasem se because there are no consequences for misbehavior. Misbehavior has taken a higher level or impunity has taken. We are sika emprembebre one more no ma emfata emprembebre na dia ye amanyosem esa se beka se Daniel we okrofo sika na waje no enye usika fabra ye beji sika na sanhwe aso no yes o MPP NDC na mu NDC mu we are more than us MPP mu we are more than us na at the end of the day bono abeye attractive eno na haye nka ebe nwanwa se wutie generation any generation dimanim wutie omo a ebi beka kiro se omo wo school mpo no ne ye serve omo ebi se omo wo school kura mu mie na ye de companies aba ebisa se ehina obi adwuma aso nti abre na ye ka ho asemi nso wohwe mpanyimfo na omo omaimu a se ministers na asefo a nka onwuma sua no enro anim te se ene de you ndi eba ne sen ina ene yenkwada wie school a omunye adwuma nye eba ne sen ina akrachifo ubeti ose oye professor doctor so nkwasi asem nkwa na odi because inshishe be ni ho ye de fahudie no akoye se utumi ebribia wo pe anas ubetime misbehave. That's why we have interpreted our democracy to mean enti eno na di abesi sa mpempenso a ye wo musesi.
Interesting. Enti semeti wase dia echese Ghana problem no o kata wani kra na o predict 10 years based on the etie dia by maybe 5 years ye freuna nyankopon enya maya ye besa ka the same thing na ye kanene no bibia nche dansesa
anje kura be west because enena zameka o TV so say Abraham join accountant general in 1990s early 90s no na sikewia na asefo na wo hopa no nso na amount ni nkete ya beti be 1000 Ghana cedi ana so yeti 20,000 kuranja se abruso emra 2,000 there about no afeneska na peje ni mu beti na 100,000 you see 200,000 say and millions and billions are going and to say yanhwe yi ya dachi anase enche ye bede nyane no na minister of finance akache say he consolidated fund no mo wie sika na wo mu nyina tie ni sika bia de baby bia ko na eko animu nti se yanso no ntem a ebe hadwene because say kwesi ewia na se anya ne hwe kwadwo wia na se anya ne hwe a ya osusu be wia.
I remember say maybe na me interview on my former station and me busa o say me busa afa isikewie ya ho and I say mo call forum bi na sa forum no Samre na no aba yeto nka se auditor general de we aba we awie sika auditor general de we aba we awie sika saa ema o ka se obi busa wo se enti wo ma wo di aba se wo ma wie sika na ye wo den went me anya answer bia because they were shocked say she NC. I don't know whether you recollect that one.
Yeah, me kaipa because one say amamuna ye and as a politics no and a governance no and she share wo ho. And say obiansusu woni to me. Say we are auditor general majuma ni say na majuma ni say meye audit. Na me the report aba. Na obi a wafa avensika emfa kwemu no. Emra no mahu kwan say metwi na so ana say me issue what we call disallowance and surcharge. Na who issues that disallowance and surcharge na say enama kumako dunsia ana say 60 days epa ho. Na onia no wamfama nko quarter. Endie na Audit Service Act Section 17 ejere se sika no abeye sika eze se aban eje na se aban beji se sika no so a na emrakuni ni ewo oman mu a efre constitution no Article 88 ejere se eye Attorney General nkwa na owo se to me se obeko court akoji aban sika amano enti me yes disallowance ni surcharge na me the copy akoma Attorney General but Attorney General fa ni ti anyi enti na o ha obie ni ho a ye disallow na surcharge na aban edi ejire ekokoji na japade na sinisika edi betu aka no anase se wantu aka na obeko afiase na se bibisa no ensi because na aban krachia na ofesa jumadie ni so no oneme nyadwen
nese bra wo breye etenase ehwehwe mu se obi adi Ghana sika na nya hwehwemu ma yehu se evidence wo so mawie sika nti na wo se aban krachi panyi a wo hwe se obagi sika no ne wo etwemanzo nti sa sika na omomu di ye no eko hwi ensi biem enyesa
PNC na mo mini ni se hwi ensi biem miji se akwanya aba umbetimi asan kwa kohe na mekai asema woke mekai nsem mienu eno kura na nsem mienu enu pa na hyeme ne di kan se okaya ebia na wonkai mo Zoom Lion ejisike bia na emfa kwam ntimi disallow ese charge no
mekai ena Zoom Lion edeme call court say there be onime nyadwi
na Justice Mensa Dacha the then High Court judge edi asem no mame say media wom because ohwa ekwan Zoom Lion fa so ejiska no emfa kwam nti sama me no mebo me nsema ma no pa ena Zoom Lion appeal ena appeal no appeal court na appeal court no one challenge accusation no kodo amede ball no de one challenge eno o si auditor general need to me say ono ji abansika na say owi abansika auditor general bet me I disallow and I say charge no
really
ena court of appeal and you come down Supreme Court say we there a interpretation in the Supreme Court any interpretation my and church remember my but yet it says Supreme Court in Occupy Ghana versus Attorney General one more can say the Auditor General should surcharge everybody and they put into bracket be a public servant or not. Just we abanjuma yini na say we nya abanjuma kra na say wutimi edi abansika na say we abansika Auditor General betimi say charge no say Supreme Court na say twa ne ho I can say Auditor General betimi aye enso so judge na odi asem no one you can potokasemo he didn't establish the guilt of fraud. There was no fraud. And in that case, Auditor General's mandate is not activated.
What?
Emma, Omuma, Zoom Lion, for 411 million Ghana cedis a year.
What?
And this is how the type of system I work. I judge you for a cuckoo dam or member. The bray a mambo for Min Canada. Do dona a beer pa, but do dona ya mambo. Because woman say obviously me boa onfa occupy Ghana vs Attorney General. So offense case now on area omu friend consequential orders. Eko ewie ho no. Omu ma bibia e friend consequential orders. And in the consequential orders, no most state here, say Auditor General shall charge, disallow and surcharge anybody, and into bracket, public servant or not, who is involved in causing losses to the state or deficiency to the state. One was sent to a woman can say, yes, woman council so woman. I just say, judge, you know, establish, say there is fraud and so and the same thing. So Obekaya, many Osafumafu, and a crew and associates. So Obekaya, and so Kwaya opinions Osafumafu, Efa Swa, Utia over $1 million US dollars. No, Madrimudiana and Fakwemu. And ye disallow as a charge here. And now, on also the court, justice be your friend Efia, and they were free high court, echo court of appeal. And they call down a name. Now, ye Kiasem. And a Osaf Obra Osafuma for say, Nientia, a Juma Omu, Ediscani, ye no, Oman Fanchere, a auditors, not just because of national interest, and I say national security concerns. Entina Oman to me, I'm Fanchere auditors. Nana Jantuah came so Auditor General, I audit presidency, I audit even national security. But almost I said, you may be over, I know the Omoya, Omun fan chere auditors. Any yes, Emre Bieniho, a coin be any horse, Ubet midi a bicycle ayejuma. Now we see who at the end chere auditors. And also so, and I almost say, just as a fiase sadia. A interpretation into Yanko Supreme Court. Now Supreme Court enter a quine. And also go down Supreme Court. You do honor Omubisa me say. And he say Omumame Aquena say a Juma or ye no. Minsan Conco here. Mekwana. And me see there be 3 lawyers. And me say there be Minko because say Odisicani ye Jumana. And at the time of the auditing, in God say Juman Bechere. And yet, Nansana would be bachelor because say, yes, Shena a behadri because Equa Nimuno, ye discover on Nana Jantuah say, Coco C school, now when C school, no, now Auditor General disallow SHR you are. In fear me, and you bet my after say, oh, Brabere, I fed him a C school, no. And there will be no infraction ever in life.
I get it.
And a Supreme Court is saying there, almost sorry, Kakra, almost Omoba, Yatwaso, Omqua minimum Goka, Omba no catch him say, well, what Supreme Court decision, Oma decided, say, Mipo Mimpo, Mingongo a Jumana, or Osafumafo, a year no. Namimfa, Moye, Emre, almost say, so many and so many as Auditor General.
Wow.
Enti Omo Mame. Okay, omu mame 10 days. Say minko say juma na minsamra. Me lawyer penyi sorry. Omu ka chen so transi. Omu ntie. Onzi min transi. Yanko. Ene yekoye. Yekoye ni nanum actually 5 days. Ena omu penyi ka say minko leave na. Minko tin 167 days leave no.
I see.
Ena omu penyi say ko leave. Ena minko leave. Minko leave na dichie. Adam Michelle leave us and Adichie, and Auditor General is here now. I am a deputy. Extra letter come Supreme Court say, Wakohe, a Jumana, over Safway one for a year. No, na Neniso, Wetinia planning audit. I carry out the audit extra report within 24 hours. The fastest audit ever on earth.
Wow.
The Supreme Court so egi2 and the omo gi2 na omo throw a high court justice efia say ejuma na mesi woman fan kire auditors no afi de omo de akire auditors na auditors ni say o mani so na justice efia ebo asemi na guye meanwhile justice efia me kai kwabra de bo owura osafuma fo na enye ejuma no nko an yes procurement process no kura wa miso because uhwe nhihye na omu tie sika no ansana omu enter into the contract ena omu enter into contract no so no omu ye contract no so ansana omu ko PPA akoji approval to enter into the contract enti omu eka no eko reverse gear nka won hihye bia mu no nka woji approval for PPA no one enter into the contract who enter into the contract now who the contract no so a oni anu ye dwuma na watua nso we de omu tua aka no ansa na omu eba contract no so on free contract no so ansa na omu ko waji to me say ye contract no na eno kura emfa ne se enu mpo de enye nso emfa ntu nchen na wo hwe approval na owura osafumafo ejina so se eno na omo de ekata contract na omo ye ansa na omo ji approval no so a uhwe sa letter na PPA letter no as a public procurement authority letter no eye owura kandapa na omo chiro no National Security Ministry enya senior minister's office GS entimi nkoji approval na health minister use public service enya DSA enso so nini na justice afia oboni nyina guye ye ka kire no mpo se wo Public Financial Management Act no minkai the very section but around 33 you be there friend environment say who senior minister's office now person who use sika Ministry of Finance ya dia aji say ko parliament ko ji approval enti no so no ura safu for bu samra no so anto ewura justice afia asum na anya me nwanwa sa anche odis asem na anche ene ye man so de no court of appeal na ne esa me nwanwa kura ka ho ne se na Jantuah ono justice afia no sesia oye high court of appeal judge
wow
lawyer for me enu a omo gina emu ma osafumafo omo ina ye court of appeal judge
wow
omo ina the judge and the lawyers, they are all now court of appeal judges. Enti katasin sheni proyeno ayentimin kuntiano. Institutions bebre, including the judiciary. Omu boye, omu diye hiamo. Osha. Ntimi de margin no.
So
minkan tia omu nyina se ajaji fo e wo krum ha nyina anye. Apapa fo omu pa.
Well, statistics even so better will say Ghana phone shed dan nigidie wo court system and every day be as the report on ba one institution na Ghana for susu say corruption wo ho pa the court judges ni nasefo no and say in fact announce the ba ye be payment no they be a wo the ba court system still na no and say and it feeds into the okay mamimbusa o kasa me sense frustration. You're frustrated about corruption fight.
I'm frustrated, but I will never give up because we can't. HM microphone crying say yeah kumpona eko say ye jaya and ye enya di abebu da kon di abekoso kosi say nyame be frey say nyame frey dia ye nyaye.
All right.
Now, the two medicine home. You see, a health sector or diseases are. The world has never been able to overcome diseases. But we will never give up the fight against diseases. If we do, we will all die in a few months. So it's the same thing with this corruption.
Right. So then it's also come back to the near KuroYiMuNsem say. Ye can't morals asem ene kra na akweti so enkra ye ntwo mutrinyi ma ye ntwo mutrinyi yenye ni say na eyesa ankra ne be say and all those things. But I was thinking about the correlation between saa nyoma we nyina ye beka seme yenye because ye tete omu. Now we share judges here. Judges nso aye hu omu pictures nyina obi anu wa sebi ebia ayere so abon se ebia 50 kono. Na say omu ye nkofo a 20th century no ne yetri ni obia. And I'm thinking nanui Nicolas Sarkozy French ye de na kwa kotum and judges here ebi class abranu na oye president no me judge so man na wo ho o matimi di na tum ye nya situation na etimi ka so jeje no ye kromfo wi ade kofo no ye kromfo wi ade Atamils John Mahama part 1 no ye kromfo wi ade perceive obi akan and so we realize that omo beba abetena fie bibia nsi yenya situation where 2016 campaign MPP for kan and say John Mahama inflated prices circle interchange Dubai and yoma bebre wa wiem Jida Sada ni akanisa owie ye no wasaba ye president na no nso na NDC for nso di gu na Akufo-Addo so wa wia we PDS wa hwan owie ye no waba betena fie kra yes support so na making sure say o is statesman. When you have a situation like this, you beckon is saying if you say you may who say John Mahama ye cromfo ya ncheno o ma me who say MP before ya cromfo mpanifo no mo yes an all the testing na sefo obi abeni na hwa wa hwe kra na ora ye amaye be 8 years kra ni ntimi nya hwe na ye ti say opuni case na ye full case unya situation bi say ya wo perspective no ebe yi
as a CSM, accountability starts from the very top. And Ghana is the only country you war on mine. Now we share a man be brave or honma. They hold the president accountable. No man be brave or a Akufo-Addo. Ayana say which me who say or can be and it me see. Jano. He said, "Yeah, who can say, Ura Mahama, Bravo Free up and yes, why so Obia anyhow holding accountable for the same thing. Rollins time, Grana, there were issues. And Akoya said there's an unwritten law on corruption in Ghana. Say we are Mampenia, which me found hoodie. And so, Emrakuni war memu and Cheresao. The Emrakuni war on my muchrese, that is constitutional. Echrese say, what does so ye on Mampenia? Then we cannot hold you criminally or civil liable. The civil liability and criminal liable cannot be instituted against you in any court when you are still the president. Namum say, who free idea so you bet me out you assume any time. Eko sise impemi ensan betwam nti se yawun se afiba ko yasu enche bia na afiba ko na kan fie mienu yanso Akufo-Addo mu a that is all says you say in some na wo kan about President Mahama no we ye ho hwe ya enye ye because ofri abamu no ebro 3 years ansa na osamba nti this year no the constitution enjoined us not to touch him.
But is that not, excuse my word, a stupid law when you're
extremely stupid? Which ye lawyer for Omega just a crime has no expiry date. For you and me, crime has no expiry date. But we are Mampenidia, our expiry date 3 years. And young Kwasiasem, Sabi, I mean, the same obi kwasia. But Nigiri say Samrana Yashisheno Fokwem. Namum Enfokwem Mbono. Akwenya Dahwa. Nka every na kosi 3 years after Nana Adudankwa Akufo-Addo. Ofri abamu no yetimi di ko gina assembly bia. Ese yesika na odi ko si National Cathedral no. Bebre Enfokwem chira no. Sky train awusu wuye. A whole lot of things are also we na mampo etimi enya big contract every abamu no a conflict of interest under Article 284 The public officer should not put him or herself into a position where his or her interests conflict with the office. Nti wutimi de abansika ema wonkwada se umfa kokoye adwuma etwe yi anase ntwe yi saa akwenya no anhwe ano so ba betwe mako afi na lawyer for aka kire say constitution ma ho kwan bi say mfie miensa so.
I don't know say bia constitutional review committee ne ehyiawa say omehyiawo ne bia sa issue ya ba, would you want to perhaps revisit say sa law na ya diatum from JJ Breso say we free so a mfie miensa pe a yenim so wokọ abrochira Nicolas Sarkozy ade na okoye ye no ebe 2007 ho baabi o yesi den chese enye ne kra be 10-15 years ago bi a yesi yesusu se kofo bi na kema ni sika for campaign da no yetimi ama na ekwa akodem 5 years. Would you propose say sir there will kind in your words extremely stupid law no yensesemu na yema ne te say we president na ubedi dwirima yemfa timeline to so time bia will be sorry who say na na akufo do di sika Joma Hama udi sika no yebetimi atwe aso
saa akwanya no ba me de beto manim na me kenzo so me de nsem bebre ato manim me nim zo me di ho adwuma we nyina ka ho nka kire say it doesn't sound reasonable to me. Say the 3 million Ghanaians Udi Boniana say if you commit a crime, the law says there's no expiry date. But if you are umunya kwan be ye mampenyin de obetime di boni bia ope seniti ye na say free so na mfie miensa ya franco si ango jira asem di bia inde je se wonya ne ho adi enya asema Thomasum ina nsem bebre ina me no mabobọ so na owura kwesi prempa oti dwomu emangrofo menene kasapa nti we ye asema yedi hu nkomo.
Right, I'll be glad we the eba mani beje pa the issue of galamsey so ya de
megasi ya de Yenti megasi ya de ne say galamsey any corruption no akwai say you wo nana Jantuah wujina bucket mu and I say basket mu and I say bucket na yesi ma honso and I say lift yourself up with the bucket. It is your weight which is keeping the bucket down, so I don't know how you are going to lift yourself. Atumfo ni akitechi a omo bo oman ediafa galamsey so no omo na yesa hwe omanimu nti sejise nyame ya adom na omo yo madwese afedi o masakra se ye ka galamsey asem na eye na ebi enhyeda entiase papa omo de anibre nyina akosia eye nuanum mrantie ne mabawa omo hye efom ho etutututu agudie no omo nkwana ya yeni ehwe omo ya ni ewre free e ho se ye misa se excavators no why na import back omemu omo hye office omo hye coat air condition room e won kran any kumase bisa ho se cyanide any mercury na se for omo di process gold no why enekra ediba omemu mi ji se okonwure mo okohu kwara na obisa ho se mercury ehi na free a ebi kura nim akwan ye fa so eba omemu nti atumfo na ketechie ena hyasie nti se ye betimi ayama yaso galamsey ya no a eye pa se abande asojafo enasefo akonwure mo epam nkwara no eye onchi omo empam wona yenso eninte nso so be hia nso se atumfo na ketechie omo hye chire no yema ye niko omo so se would cyanide record no ye ko customs a ye be hu se mfie be du anase mfie be enum a etwem koi wo nana Jantuah wo de cyanide anase mercury be so many tons eba kroimu esa o cheche ni juma o so ye die no akira ye betimi anya the actual corporates ebeso ano because say excavator emabio na mercury ni ho na se for wonsan kan mi ni se galamse na betimi akoso min kire se nia omode ye legal mining no eno so member but we can trace it. There was something we call audit trail from the import to the receiver to the distributing chain. You bet me address in that say ebi move 50% and 60% ena yedi juma papa ena ni aka no ena yedi boy yedi say ye mine no ese ye so no ano eso no kuzi say yenso any bete enya sa ye nyina bewu so menoni na aduane awudi enso awonum na sefo na heavy metals ewo ndi yeku ye ho ndi je say aban eye na adwen say emfa ho say woye opposition emfa ho say ukama aban ho mi nsaka nkwa ade a menu bedi say yanye ne sa which is the same system I'm talking about. But Ghana no kronu bia announce boni bia it depend upon say we are politician kwande a wo bone no ubetimi akuni pampo wa ohwa say ukaya ebinu ba wu na no kora na de amanyo sem say kono sade a enye ye menua
John Mahama obetimi to corruption ase
very easy kura obetimi atu na akwantu a na njisha ode tu kwemu no eyepa ebetimi abrek corruption ase but wo menhwehwe mu no akakra akade bi wo hono ma enim na se yemfasa akade na nka ho a menyini se obetimi aye amana yeye if say corruption no enya de obetimi dis etuo ni sikan akọ fight no wo de mra ena fight no nti menhwehwe wo madwem no ye won hwehwe ba ko mienu bi a ese de to kwam one the proof reverse burden or what we call unexplained wealth and she said you emremu a se ekoba se me market ya 20,000 bosome me just afimu nyina market ya be 240,000 na ma ejuma 1 year ye be na me 20 million edam account mu a it me as summit me chire mu kwa me fa so nya sa 20 million no na se mantimi an chire mu dia enti se mabokro no. That is the reverse burden. I the accused must prove how I got that wealth. Samrane eni Ghana kakra bi na wo Ghana minga se eni Ghana kra but kitu abi o so we article 286 clause 4 as it say if you declare your assets and your subsequent declaration the increase in wealth is not in tandem with your income or gifts or any other known sources of income, then you have acquired that assets contrary to the constitution. That is the unexplainable wealth. And I was called Money Laundering Act, Section 1, Subsection 3 in Sosua. As this occupy what do you call it? YOCO, that is Economic and Organized Crime Office. Investigate you on money laundering. Na se wo japade bia ye de tu ketua na se fo ho a enko a nje se you are guilty of money laundering. And no na me say as say ye biemu we have to expand it to all corruption related cases because corruption wo hui obi ani ho a omu wia abansika e wo bedwam and ti say obi akwakokum nipa anaso wabo krono ne achi no kejetia na we de mpanyifo akukudam o madwu dopa na ebo ye krono nti se ubenya om edne nti se wo ketua 10 cedis na 10,000 na afimu total income 120 na mumu 10 million eda wa accounts mu a enough to tell us we kromfo agye sɛ wokyerɛ yɛn sɛ bia wodi loto anaasɛ wo papa bi anaasɛ wo abusuani bi wui na ɔde agyapade agya wo na ɛno deɛ yɛte aseɛ nti saa law no ɛnni Ghana sesi a nti sɛ yɛkɔ court na sɛ ɛyi polisini anaasɛ prosecutor ɛna bɛpruvu sɛ Daniel 10 million na ɛda na account mu owiaeɛ a ɛɛden paa nti ɛnyɛ easy ɛno yɛ 1 2 wɔn nim sɛ obi bɔ korɔ no anaasɛ owia ɔman sika korɔ no a meka no yɛ corruption o memfrɛ corruption ɛyɛ theft nti obi ewia aban sika na yɛde ne kɔgyina court a wonim sɛ asɛm no yɛni ma ne ɛnwie ntɛm ebi a fie bebree ebi a 4 years 7 years ne yɛda so ɛyɛ nti akorɔmfoɔ no wɔn ne wɔn lɔyafoɔ ahyehyɛ a anaasɛ adwene a yɛ ana ɛwɔ mu etiri mu ne sɛ wɔn bɛtwe asɛn mu tan wɔn bɛtwe ne saa kɔsi sɛ aban bɛsesa wote yɛ a nansa yɛn nkyɛn bia na ɛti sɛ nolly prosecutor aban sɛ ɔnyɛ interested in some cases anymore nti ɛno nso so mesrɛ sɛ ɛsɛ sɛ yɛ mmara ɛde time ɛto ho sɛ yɛ try corruption case a ebia afe abruso a afe anaasɛ abruso a 9 months ukai nansenya former agric minister ɛwɔ China ɔgye bribe any corrupt practices totaling about $38 million,
right,
almost sentencing to death. Now that trial now ended up in death. No, it was done in only 3 months. Busum yansa China for any busum yansa na yede yabon yentimi nya ne ntem kura ene yema yehu busum nsian ana say busum nkrompo ana afi but Ghana yebedi akire saa afi I friend say so aban sisan nje say asem so asesa na akwakosi na wiye.
That's interesting.
Afenso so say wo pese wo clean friend say wo pepa ensuo every day mu a wo mwie tap ensi so na wo nkoso empepa wo close tap no first me boa. So if you want to wipe the room, you don't keep the tap on. You must close the tap. One of the institutions I bet me are buying power or memo internal auditors. Because one more year professionals to say external auditors, but one more year 24/7 they are in the MDs and I say abayjuma friends bibiaye abayjuma bia wo
yeah
and sana wo betwe sika no wo nti ye wo independent of the spending officers nka ebeboa minim se wo mu bi nso bia na wo mu nye correct there but minyi ni se wo mina na nye correct nti ka eno nso beboa yen ama ye hu se sesi ade internal auditors wo say if you can say auditor general they are making ono oba at the end of the year satam na city data
but
auditor general again yeah
senior and na mpese mbuza say for example the alleged corruption na ye kan wan say me for national service there Abdul Hanan buffer stock ne adai no obeti so no transfer sika free hand free bank ne ko ha and the question is enti ade ntimi emfa auditors no internal auditors no enka ho because minim say abaya djuma answer na abenya 1000 Ghana cedis mpo no bra be bra atwea fa ho boa ansa na wonsa aka na no na me ne doctor bi di nkomo kwa me nkroma suapo mu no say or per laptop no kura in 20,000 kona bra ne hwan ne wo so sign ko a enso so bet no ne say kwa bra ne timi $78 million watimi a transfer free bank ako na accounts mu ana obi adi 600 million Ghana cedis na yenhu. The question is yachi de oye panyino na auditor ne wo mo sign no eno ne mra no kase yen fom nka wana
wo mi na ka ho na ena me kan midi kan ne say Ghana ko say yen fight against corruption politically led entinia yewe ne na Jantuah ntisi yen saka no kwa de a mo aka ho nyina from Muhedi. Internal auditors, the directors, the storekeepers, the bankers. Sir, Nana Jantuah, who call bank 6 years ago, you 200,000 Ghana cedis. Means ube answer questions. Pa.
It is be a crown na me buofu.
So one more day, a Toma Pastor, Utie investigation and standing to Brano. A Toma because Opi Ewo Bango. I also can't we say a Coco Duano. Now, internal auditor, your funnel. Director or approve your funnel. Opinion your request your funnel. Procurement officer or share. High Emma Ecoso, your funnel. Yes, so many number more. And as the four can be say, Dia and Yawa Bawono, you entrust me boy.
You two are say,
you two. As you trust here, you two. As I say, dear man, you're saying to know, you trust. Near about it, boy, as a both my because you trust.
Then in that case, in that case, now say you're a Mahama so you can't say crow the John and now. Every say I'm expecting saying Attorney General. Ebetimi who say national service case and you give to a warring kwane or CSB. Auditors internal bankers one why munina yedmudiaba. That is what we are expecting. But I say yeah, give to a worry, but give to a worry say I'm pa obine Simano. But I said Dante's name no free Attorney General and numu say ye domunina account other than they are okay politically exposed people you can once in Yana.
I say crime no you need that only the politically exposed person so or a minister. Now minister and so could just a minister in the previous regime or in opposition. Or a government official in opposition or previous regime on Kwang Abai Esikano. We can be of Potocas and Mesa Etiso. Me say, without the collaboration of the public servant, the politician cannot take much from the public funds. If the public servant does not collaborate, because we need to say Abai account to be a hormone minister and one signature and that's all because etiamra nti the minister mpo assign I just say obi so sign and I check no kura and na minister few and na ne botum e wo accountant office there say for check no bra chro check bra na ye pese ye ko yisika say na unim say sika no emfa kwa mu a adenti na wo de ko he ansana ye nu honso so no na a friend saying mpenyimfo a wo adwuma mu obi a certify unim payment voucher
PV
ata payment voucher no so a signatures a guso nyagoro be 15 20 we approve now we are recommend now we approve akronfo nko a ye pese ye tuasia I say you show money na echi wo mubomu edu onko jina asendibia and none of ever man for aye ahweyi
finally na menim say wo ko menim say Rajo Mahama Emma in any case mo amutie madaroma ye ne Yera Daniel Yaw Demolevu ono former auditor general and member of oral committee any twetwem come former auditor general Ira Daniel Domolevo on any extensively on corruption, education and other stuff Yeguswa and any twetwem come so far me ati say corruption fight as I grow ni you bet me ayi current one now amaya boss wa me hu ni say ye kase panyi bia disika obi na sign man no ntinke achi ani achi omu nyina bom ba bo wanze achi esorofo ne ketwa bi na de onu wia no de bi obegusu awia na obo amankofo e na o che se omo wo ho eye internal auditors accountant na sefo ese omu wia na emomu so pe bi adidie omu so be force but senior finally mpese mbusa ebia Yera Mahama na sese ono nso wasachira say was say corruption no ono no de no esobete anaso obetu ase ba ye won nkofo bi omunso bre ye yi sikade ye campaign ene enyina anim say political financing no obi a woni interest say min ko yi sika 10 billion emma wo meye prr se prr na wo ma me position wi a ba be ka tem se mintimi nya akwanya enye sika na no ye can say Elvis Anka every okay I say the reality is that omo sponsor ye no omo we interest into the nipa no me di misika amount 70 billion hwan ne na se for aba now be catch them say eja yi saa na pa kire say jo mahama e de ya wo de be hew eja wo kofie kra be hew na yen ya bre no e wo se enyi esika wo enti yera jo mahama person solve corruption ne nkrofo atwa no ho asie yi omo nso was attitude na yera jo mahama enya idie e be fa
asem no odi abaye o asem pa no we wako because yen corruption ne far by na your political financing because utie ya almost ansana obetima be MP no sika ube hia e dey campaign agro na president de ebro adwene entiase so na obi de sa $20 million ana say 100 million Ghana cedis ema na say uba ba mu a obetumi ahwe ne saa anu ye no eye 2 metumi aka say an e na da bi na mechechire mu say sa democracy is not limited to Ghana and it's not limited to only Africa. Party financing is a worldwide problem. It's not only in Ghana and it's not only in Africa. The challenge is that how we address our financiers is the problem. How we address our financiers. If you go to the US and you go to the UK, etc., I can authoritatively say that they also do party financing. But how do they repay their financiers? And the same public procurement process here. So they can award you a contract to say, do dollars Accra to Tamale. So when you profit 1% there, so 1% is more than enough to cover how much you spend on the party. And our approach in Ghana, no any problem. It is if you actually provide the service and you make profit out of it, that profit or the margin is what you are supposed to use to compensate yourself. And yes, when you may be an assistant crack amount, said, yourself not for muye. Now, you trace come out. Auditors say for a Juma muye browse would be a national security issue. Oh, and to say yes, sir, no. Me kana obi ka kire me emi o meeting bi ase outside Accra Ghana me ntumi kire baby am meeting no na me kobo ase mi so na obi ka kire me say sa 1 or 2% na America no eno na ye de adwuma wo Africa na 98% no yaji ashe yebotom na on my cost no it is just the mindset and the methodology or the approach. Because obieni wa oye business onya profit. And the contractors are big pushy. They are all going to make profit out of their job. Enti ye de juma ma na wo ye juma no na wonya emu profit editua sa finance ne car and hardly. The problem ne say ye de ye buy ya ne tamsika ne the amount. Wonya juma bi anso ne the amount. Any problem no.
Interesting.
So political financing is a challenge. But the way we address it in Ghana is the problem. It's not that we cannot satisfy. In fact, I keep arguing that the two are not mutually exclusive. The two are mutually inclusive. You can satisfy your investors whilst providing quality service to your people. Value for money. Because see a business a Kwame Nebefa so SC KNUST and a Kwame Nkrumah University a war baby away. Everybody will tell you that the estimate is between A plus this or minus that. A range and yet fixed amount. And see a chair sikana say within the range and your problem. But yendia ye say university na yensi yes it is scanning ama oniano. And any problem. It is the methodology or the approach and the mindset.
finally Yera John Mahama or your concern say sa corruption yi KCC konanse na me ready bibi kakra free Burkina Faso soja aban bae no nyoma bi wo ho a watimi agege aboa oman no omu minerals ne nyoma bebre oya aware with the data that suggests say Ghana youth no dodo na be prefer say we be 10 mu be 3B 4B kase the nyoma ekono yinya soja aban ba ebe boa. Is that a concern to President John Dramani Mahama? I say or no they buy say Mahama is a hope. Say you bet me a certain John Mahama on my yet to say na no de na or ye no. Name obe free so by 2028 no. Nienya John Mahama na breso corruption esote ye ema sika die ni sika wia no esote ya na.
Minia we de o mampanyin on fan cheme. Menini edi nkomo bi na meka but menini ni permission say meka but on fan chame misre na menini di nkomo bi encheye ina me di tu na anim say ohwe ekwan a Ghana for efa so agigi Burkina Faso president emra oba na sharing in no ohwe ekwan Ghanaians area as against all other democratic leaders omuba empu yanti omunka enye se born ebo mudi anke nim se omuba empu a nje se Ghanaians are looking for leadership not democracy nti onwe ye no my democracy what means leadership ena me say so reminding no say minister for I think environment of definitely the one who told Nana Addo Dankwa in parliament said, you have taught us how not to govern. Mikaransi Kachan say yes. Nana Addo, and I have no doubt with that, say Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo has shown us how not to govern. But it is for him, His Excellency John Mahama, to show us how to govern. And yes, idea. Now we're here. When him and you know the mommy. Okache me say on the one you mu no nim say ofeli Ghana fo a enche bia kubesi wow enche ono akan if you know na buy o say enche bia Ghana fo because otumu say Ghana fo ni ji ayi buga na say military approach normal content tem na say for no Ghana fo ni ji ho nti say odi Ghana fo hiamo a enche bia kubesi na ni oka kan ho a enu nwa kwa ni say o see se sa kunusia womu former presidency na ya bechi omi na ko foreign squad esutu o mako wow on one kan osandi to aso say Rollins any atames de omuti ya omawu nti omu de oma for mu we
there's a car ono ne kofo ne Nana Akufo-Addo
oso wo omuti ase ni de onyini se omefo omu hu adi nti megini se onimpa se ofeli omanya nsunsuanso a beba oman mu no enye papa nti megidi se obeye
mate Yera Daniel Yadomelevo, thank you so much. Minim say na pressure was so eja baby awo nyame se papa ne de yankasa mewu because nyame nshira pa I'm sure say we are part 1 ebenya part 2 ni part 3 bebre nshira affirmative for so energy yeda asese watimi ni yakasa. God bless you.
Miss Medamase, bye.
Former Auditor General, member of the Oral Committee in Parliament. Parliament, we are at the presidency. And na ene chuchen komo. Mami bi line so na ye chuchen komo kakra na afi yembra. Wetie bi from Anopana wetie bia. 032208358 032208358 032208358 032208358 032208358 032208358 oba no ayen intem na obi nso ababi nanka wose ne Reverend Intim for Joy Church Komo nyame adoma ochina yene no be church komo extensively on issues we raise concern say 3 months ni yen said then ya substantive minister of defense and a dangerous didn't know kasa ya me adomo china yen no ebetwetwe nkomo yen kwa homa no so na yen twetwe nkomo. Hi, good morning. Hello.
Hi, Jantuah.
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Onyo kese mane so mami.
Me je Mohammed. Prebe me catch to no more but na apa na to no kwa ya age. No nya kudo obu boss so amene. Nembo adi no nya se da tiyo. President Kufuor o mo tin fun atla. Me kama we di wes kama we so yejuma. Wa fa yejuma. Mun tin me yeni. MPP yen dis pin na. Yem pa de ne be fa de bu ta o ma President for mo dia mano mo ka su ye manam mo pin for mo tina wa mo
line in, very sorry for me na ye mo before from bra. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes.
Your premier.
Yeah.
And we come our king. Yeah, mimi pete usi supa be busumiana between sa school at them. Kwaya wo no ye na teacher phobia sabi omo ma baby for practice and at school a no fel na akofo mo che ma ye timi di homework bi ma wo ma a say u be say wo ti ase a ye na so ye man ye fi ase ko ye sa na na tie minim die nti ape di abasa ye politicians say you me teach in private school etina na me so wada roma but modern answer to mo wa pato no obe be because why be pen e be ubo police form na kwa to educate ni amachiama commander or command story minim so obetimi ha it ma district na mi sure ni papa o ye minim te Ghana betum.
All right, me that's it. All right.
Nana Jantuah.
Yes.
Nana me mo ti
Joso.
After Mama Lele, I know to say Kaseki Bantu. Now I'm in charge regional minister for staff. Well, now be a Michigan. Come about na na oh, I was no Mudian. Also, my bank said, MPP abandoned them, Kauma Bow, mine. Secretary to be a cat at the Shannon Crono, the boy, yeah. Omudia tiku o men omaja hofo. Yes, sir. Abaning an intention. No more Ghana ni bia hunu ni say. MPP ammo na epom wo mu no. Enye bo pa na mum Ghana fo ni da ho wo sa ba na twa mu no. E be say Ghana na be kum Ghana yembe yai. Enti e be so aban no. Ibi say na dia. Wo mu to no mu sai e tire de bi. Enti say banana mo bo betu. E titu o magu mensa wo me be be mu a. Yamba mu fo mu konko gu ho. Na bibe ye na ho MPP party no nana aguo
international issues MPP party bi engu ye momo party send this for ye kaze party nagu in politics a party bi engu party ti me yemre ba party engu anyway Jantuah de ne ne kan so. Good morning. Hello.
Ana ma se
Joso.
Ya fami Hamza nikata film room.
Right.
Na mimi shira kwa na mimi chewa watifunya. Na ndie ofanye kan me yemshi mi faaye. Zumula ya odi na okan no. Sikapa chenchireke pa ni patimi edi ense bom wi asa no. Eno okan me yemshi wata ro kwa okatira wo kwa ka se ei. Enya sa ko twa ndi ye betime ko mu ase na sikabia na nyuru basa sei. Na etimi ka ho ya. Somehow ye ka check Ghana for nyane empanyi for obodi o mai sunse omonhwe no mo for no mo to kwam na me no ma extra ko ipa papa yibo su ipa dia ata somehow dey pa na me chene na kwati chama 1 dey obi anya ko pon karo na.
All right, Ian said that's Insha 104.5. Yes.
Ask what I think was.
Me too.
Nana, corruption case. Papa ya mo ko na taka tibai. Ba ke chief afra ni ka hot ni. E betwe ni na kokko ti dia. Ya ta ho pan ye. Na taka tibai ada na me hene ti se na me ra ho. Swimming pool na da ho. Na ya se ska ti dia ti se. Agama e presa.
All right, yeah, that's it. Last call. Hi, good morning.
Hello.
Yeah. Yes. Me too. Me too.
Nana, and someone walking on the corruption is the big chow. Then I mean, the man to shoot our power, and then to be a very power. The many to open what is the booking now, the level of the booking level. So, and you immediately many to shoot our bound, and then we have some of a California. The corruption is the commitment. So, give me some by sir. On the Mama Mumse, you grab a little Mama. You go, I could only tell the defense. It's good here. It's still a two of that. It's just a young to the Mama is young, I'm too bad, my house of our good law.
Yeah, that's Insha 104.5. Ma, yeah, wish you will be birthday this year now for you to us bra or already and LPM so Kaise T Honorable Grace Mansoa, my friend Efia Fresh, Honorable Grace Mansoa, Efia Fresh, we assembly woman wo man is a man so Kukrum electoral area. Oh, okay, man. So Kukrum electoral area. Way free Henry. GH Newsday online news editor na or say from Mountie. If you are fresh, you are fresh. Brian Quay.
Nana tap sent. Na aba tap sent. Na ne woman say. Wo be send this sika bi afri amanoni aba no fafa so.
Yes.
Wo the faso from October ya di wuramu kwa de kono a. Enhyehyɛ da ho se sika wo send e nyina no. Ye betumi asa de wo sika no ama wo. Ebere bi wo abeba a wo be send this sika no ye de nyina abema wo. Wa send 100 cedis yes ya ma back 100 cedis back to your account. On to the koso send it. Dey bi wo ho abe send no we wini. 100% cashback. Ti de wa send no ni asa send amount. Baby ebetumi aye ochena, ebetumi aye na deche. Next ka be send no. Ti mi anka me send ni bebre, bi adakwa me send kese pa no yes ade ma me. Na me dem no. Eti tap send asaba. No we say 100% of your transfer ne back into your app. No wa say nya. Now na wo kro no. Tap send. Papa no. Na kai say Absa Bank sika samu tutuye nyina wo mo na eboa no aye ne yedi ama wo hwehwe wo mo sisia na bibia enkoso ye mfama your story matters top tier study abroad consult se kumasia e de yepesu yetu kwan kwa ma no ne kosua de ne yeti kurum ha de a kwa makum Bank of Africa nche ho no a 0260 411 847 0260 411 847 and Crime Medina Polyclinic in Ushedi Moa. Takrade Oben NK City Nightclub, Fija Road wa. Na Wabomode do near trim top tier study abroad consult. Almost answer chair SAT Nigeria classes ni na de tu kwan ni bi. En so no. UK, USA, Canada, Spain, France baby bia. Womo beboa pa na watumi akoduru asundwem. Akwa bi ya ne 20,000 edi na so ya ye hye no mesro top tier study abroad de omo demufua. Usika nyina bekototen. Adansi Rural Bank PLC. Kai say current account savings account susu ni nyina ko biebi na besia bredura said the ombe ma besia no wani beje ho rough ebe mu adwuma ko yie bibia be koso de amawo ni nyina ne say don keke wo mu butuo emrum wo no mu butuo atonsu kase asewase ejoso kotwi from sisia wo 0577 361 439 0577 361 439 Kai say Victory Assured Publications and one of the calculator by scientific one 18 simultaneous equation no nyina no ne ye be ye mere so no the Victory Assured calculator book no aka ho 0245 726 967 0245 726 967 Royal Foam Company askore mampon e kire he CCC nchen ho no ehwa no mbutuo kotudu so pu a wonsa beka Kai say cowbell enwa ene ye mereke no aye no more ISOC Mining and Engineering Training School see ekosua welding fabrication occupational health and safety excavator yebetwi bulldozer yebetwi grader backhoe wheel loader forklift ne de akeka ho nyina no efidi akese construction and mining equipment ne nyina yekosua twidi a ISOC Mining and Engineering Training School oboase zongo or high sense dynachi per 0539 732 766 nana said the ayo.
I was saying that insura nyame adom ochna ene reverend team for job twetwe on education and other matters arising. The production team ni nyina se Odisi Kakoko nyame insura. Jeff Abuaje and Hannah Eugene say Tutu Akokwa any other executive production team. Sports etwaso.